You're listening to the Blue 82 podcast, hosted by Craig and Nicholas. Please like and subscribe so we know that you like what we're doing. And now, let's talk football. Blue 82!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Blue 82 podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Nicholas, and this is episode 13, the big 1-3. We had an exciting week of football, in my opinion. I think it was some well-played games, some close games. We got a lot to talk about this week. We're going to do a quick little news segment this week as well. Just squeak it in like how we did last week, which we'll break that down a little bit more when we get there. But first, I want to just say thanks for the subscriptions. I think we got a new subscriber. We're up to 15 now, so we're getting there. The views are staying pretty consistent on the channel, so it's nice to see, like we talked about last week. It's cool to get on here and see that people are actually watching the video and listening to us talk about some football things. So yeah, we appreciate that. Let's keep it going. The rise to the top. We're going to be the number one podcast at one point, right, Nick?
Correct.
Love it. High expectations here. We got a lot to talk about. Last week we
wait, real quick. We got our handle now.
Oh, we did get our handle.
I don't know when it's gonna roll out like officially, but it is now just the Blue 82 podcast. Like you just gotta do the @ and then Blue 82 podcast.
Yeah, so YouTube started this new thing that you can have your own handle, I guess, and I guess that's for like the link, right? So like your handle will be connected to your channel.
Yeah, you can show it. So go to your the URL right now.
Yeah.
And then delete it all the way to the / like channel, like take away the channel part. And then just type in @ and then just type in Blue 82 podcast and it should work. Your stream's a little bit delayed, so I can't like see exactly what you're doing. But yeah, just type in @ Blue 82 podcast and it should work.
All right, so yeah, there we go. So that would be the link right there. It would be youtube.com / Blue 82 podcast. So that's our own little handle now. So you don't have to go through. If you're on desktop or whatever, you could just type in that link and it'll take you right there. So something cool that YouTube released and we were able to.
I'm not sure when it like goes fully live, but like they said that when it goes live, like you'll be able to just @ the channel like how it is like on TikTok and like Instagram. You're just about to add it and like you'll be able to use it in shorts and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, but we already reserved ours, so that's good to go.
Yeah, we're official now on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, we got some stuff to talk about. I know we left off yesterday in the news section. We talked about some trades. We talked about the Roquan Smith, the Robert Quinn, the McCaffrey, Kadarius Toney, all those guys. But we had the trade deadline was on Tuesday of this previous week, and we had quite an active trade deadline, to be honest. More active than past.
They said it was most active in NFL history almost.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It was crazy.
I saw something about it on NFL Network. Like they just said there's a record like so many trades.
Yeah, I woke up a little early that day and I was just sitting there watching it all go down. And I was like, dude, what is happening?
Because most of the time there's usually like one trade, if not like that's it.
That's
you know what I mean? Like there's nothing.
We had like 10 or something like that, dude. It was nuts. So we're just gonna go down, break a few of them down, talk about them. It'll be cool too because the way it's worked out, we had the trade deadline on Tuesday, and a lot of these players have already played, so we can get some first reactions of how they looked on the field and things like that. Starting out, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers acquired William Jackson from the Washington Commanders. They also got a 7th round pick and gave up a 6th round pick. So you pretty much just traded picks and then got a cornerback. Not bad.
Pretty much Washington trades up around, isn't it, basically?
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Wait, that's like a huge. That's a 2025 pick, Nick.
Yeah, so that's a pick if you're even a GM at that point. I don't even know.
What is that trade?
It's a weird one.
How
much is he getting paid? It's a little hard on yours. That's $3 million.
Mil, yeah, maybe they wanted to get rid of the money.
I don't know. It doesn't really seem like it's like a big salary dump, but like I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to pay him anymore. I don't know. You'd have to.
It
You have
might
to look more into it to see if like his contract's up or something like that. But
and it might be one of those things where they were going to release him, and they figured, fuck, if we can get a 6th-round pick for him, might as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a weird one.
We had that one. Didn't get to see him play because Pittsburgh had a bye this week. But we'll see next week. I don't even know.
They
if
do need help in the
be,
secondary. Because I remember their secondary being hurt as hell. So
100%. Detroit.
This is the one we were talking about.
This was kind of a shocker, man. So Minnesota got T.J. Hawkinson, a 2023 4th-round pick, a 2023 4th-round pick, which is conditional, which I think it's going to end up turning into a 3rd round, I think is what we said, possibly.
I think that's what it could turn into.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they work. I'm assuming the more he plays, or like however it is, like whatever the condition is, that like it could turn into a 3rd.
And then
I don't think it can go down, right? It goes up.
Yeah, typically.
So yeah, that's what I will assume.
And then Detroit got a 2023 2nd and a 2024 3rd, but still gave up 2 4ths and T.J. Hawkinson. So this trade's a little weird to us. Like, you're giving up 2 4th-round picks.
And like we said, he's still under contract for 1 more year.
Yeah, you're only getting a 2nd and a 3rd, and you gave up T.J. Hawkinson, which, in my eyes, is, I don't know, top 8 tight end in the league. He's got
to be a top 10.
Yeah, top 10 for sure. So it's like, and again, like you said, he has what, this year and next year still under contract? I'm a little confused by this move. I don't know. A big haul for
2024, I think it was, you have to sign him, so.
Okay, yeah. So big haul for the Vikings. I mean, they were a little weak at tight end. They have Irv Smith Sr., but he's out like 10 weeks or 8 to 10 weeks or something with an injury.
Junior, isn't it? It's junior.
Junior, you're right. Dutch Junior. I'm a fucking idiot. There we go.
It's not a big deal, but I'm pretty sure it's Junior.
You're right. Anyways, so they upgraded the tight end position, which, again, T.J. Hawkinson is a good tight end.
I love this move for the Vikings. Like, I'm just going to say it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you got Dalvin Cook, you got Thielen, you got Jefferson, and now you got Hawkinson. Like, that's weapons on staff for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. And you didn't give up much for him, man.
There's no way they don't go farther into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have to at least get past the first round. And then, if you get in and then you get immediately kicked out, like, that's embarrassing.
Oh, absolutely.
There's just no way. Especially with the way their defense has been better, too, this year.
And then also, so they played this week against
the Commanders.
They played the Commanders this week. And
he put up 9 targets, 9 catches, 70 yards. Not bad.
There we go. Yeah, I mean,
19
good.
was his longest.
9 for 9 with 70. I mean, that's what
not
you want out of
not a bad debut.
Yeah, 100%. So that's a good move for the Vikings. Again, they didn't give up much. This trade's a little confusing to me. I don't necessarily know what the Lions are thinking, but I mean, hey, good for the Vikings.
Unless you requested a trade, that's the only thing I can see. But
we didn't hear anything about that, so
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a weird trade. It's a weird one.
I don't know. Moving on to the next one. This is probably another. I mean, some would say confusing, some wouldn't. The Bears acquired Chase Claypool for a 2023 2nd-round pick, which, if you look at the Bears and where they're at right now, they're obviously in a rebuild. They just sent away 2 of their defensive players to the Eagles and then the Ravens, right? But then they go out and trade for Chase Claypool. What, in my eyes, like, this is just a thought, and are they doing this because they would rather take a chance on Chase Claypool over a 2nd-round wide receiver? Or are they trying to figure out if Justin Fields is the guy, getting him a weapon? Maybe they'll find out if he's more of the guy. So they know not to draft a quarterback upcoming year. You know what I mean? I feel like, why would you trade away those 2 dudes and then make a trade for somebody? You know what I mean?
It's a little bit weird, but at the same time, he is a younger guy. I think he might have another maybe 1-2 years on the contract.
And I don't think it's a bad trade. Like, Chase Claypool is a good wide receiver for a 2nd-round pick. I don't mind it, but it just seems like you're kind of back and forth. Oh, we're going to trade everybody away, but then we're going to trade for somebody. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only question I have.
At the same time, I'm not sure like how updated this one would be. I'm assuming one of these 2nd-round picks they wouldn't have. I'm not sure what pick they would have traded away, because it's always like if it's the Ravens one or their own one. But according to Field Yates here, it says their 2023 picks are 1st-round pick, they would have had 2 second-round picks. I'm assuming they traded one of them,
Right.
right? So they have a third, a fourth, a third, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, and a seventh. And then, like we talked about before, they have like $100 million in cap space. So
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing now is like you got a little bit of a weapon here with Chase Claypool. I'm not sure how he's going to work out or how he's going to fit, but they're trying at least to build around him and give him that shot. I would think.
Yeah.
And then you go into the offseason, like I said, you got $100 million cap space. That they could easily overturn that defense right around. They could easily completely overhaul their offense. Like their defense going into the game against Miami was like ranked, I think, top 5 against the pass.
Yeah, not bad.
So it's like it's not like they're completely in shambles, but like they gotta definitely upgrade a lot.
Right.
In my eyes, because that offense is not very good.
No, and I don't mind it too, because then you could see what you're getting out of Chase Claypool, right? You got another.
You're just like it's like at least giving them a shot. Like
Yeah.
you're giving them something to work with this year instead of just leaving out to pretty much dry.
Yeah, and then you can look at it too. I mean, you give Chase Claypool the next 10 weeks that they got left in the season to figure out if he's going to be your number 1 or number 2.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I don't think it's terrible, but
no, it's not.
It's a little weird. That
was just the only question I had about it. Moving on to the next one. This might be. I think there was probably.
This is probably the biggest one.
In my eyes, there was probably like 3 like shockers to me, right? Like I know Bradley Chubb has been talked about being traded, but this was definitely a shocker to me because of where he ended up. I didn't expect Miami to get him, but Denver Broncos traded away Bradley Chubb and a 2025 5th-round pick. Again, a 2025, 3 years from now. Kind of crazy.
Okay, so now that I'm saying that it says from San Francisco, I'm gonna assume the 2023 pick was their own 2nd-round pick
from the Bears. Okay, yeah, you're probably
that's
right.
what I would. That's my assumption.
Yeah. So Denver acquired a 2023 1st-round pick that Miami got from San Francisco, so not even their own. And then a 2024.
You have to remember ours is suspended.
That's right. It is suspended. Yeah. The 2024 4th-round pick and Chase Edmonds, which Chase Edmonds we thought was going to be kind of the guy in Miami, but it seemed like every time he touched the ball, man,
he fell off
good.
Like so hard. He started off like not bad.
Yeah.
Like weeks 1 to I think it was like week 1, 2, maybe 3. He was like okay, like he's decent, whatever. And then just whatever reason, like he just started dropping catches that were like easy, little check down routes. He just dropped them. Raheem Mostert started outplaying him. He couldn't find the hole, and then boom, like next thing you know, they're trading away.
Yep. So Miami got a good pass rusher out of this, which I think will help their defense a lot, Nick. And
I think this is honestly one of the trades that you can say it's fair.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair.
Because like Bradley Chubb got traded for a 1st-round pick, which again is pretty expensive for a pass rusher. But at the same time, he was also due a contract, so it's like Denver probably wasn't going to re-sign him at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Miami drops the 1st-round pick. They paid him the big contract now, so it's like they got that hopeful stud of the future for them to rush the passer.
Yeah.
Which, again, is going to be very much needed when you're playing a guy like Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. Like, you're going to need to get pressure on these quarterbacks.
Yep. And I want to shout out the Miami front office real quick because they took the 3 first-round draft picks they got from San Francisco in the Trey Lance trade, turned it into Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Bradley Chubb. Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's extra players in there, too, like Javon
right,
Holland.
Of course,
the safety. Like, there's tons of players that... And it literally... we literally joke about it all the time, but it literally goes back to Bill O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Trading the... What was it? The 2 first-round picks? Was it 2 first-round picks for Larry Tunsil?
Yeah.
And Kenny Stills?
Yeah.
Like, that literally completely changed Miami's, like, whole entire rebuild plan and everything. Went from Larry Tunsil to 2 picks to all these different players now, and it's insane.
Yeah. Shout out the Miami front office. They're making moves. How did Bradley Chubb look in his debut, Nick? Did he play a lot? Did he get to quarterback? What happened?
He didn't look too bad, honestly. Like, it's his first game back, first game with us, so it's like I don't expect him too much, but he didn't look too bad, honestly. He got some pressure on Fields, but again, it's Justin Fields, mobile quarterback. He just was running all over our defense. So
so
tough to really gauge that.
That was definitely one of the biggest shockers. I think that T.J. Hockenson was another big shocker. And then I think this one, to me, is another big shocker because I didn't expect this to happen. Jacksonville Jaguars acquired Calvin Ridley, and they give up a 2023 fifth-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
If Calvin Ridley there's a lot of stipulations for this, so I'll just say what it is from the get-go, and then we'll break that down. So a 2023 fifth-round pick, and then a 2024 fourth-round pick. The fifth-round pick Atlanta gets if Calvin Ridley plays again. So if he doesn't play, that fifth-round pick's gone, right?
Yep.
The 2024 fourth-round pick, if Calvin Ridley makes the Jacksonville Jaguars team, which is probably going to happen, right? It's Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
It's a fourth. If he hits a certain amount of playing time, it turns into a third. If the Jacksonville Jaguars extend Calvin Ridley's contract, it turns into a second. So Atlanta pretty much got, just because based off how I expect this to work out for Jacksonville and Calvin Ridley, Atlanta got a second and a fifth. I think it's going to be a second and a fifth.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably gonna. It's most likely gonna be a second and fifth, but it's gonna be at least a third and a fifth.
Yeah. So,
which honestly is pretty shocking.
Yeah, because in the offseason, weren't they talking about trying to get rid of him for at least a first rounder? And then here you are, only getting a second and a fifth. So it's like,
it's even more wild to me that they traded him now when like his value is
at its lowest.
Almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if I was Atlanta, I would have waited to next year at least. That way, he has maybe a preseason showing, or like he plays like a couple of games, then you get rid of him. But like completely trading him now in the offseason, it's a little weird for that, like in that mindset. But I do like the move for Jacksonville. Like you get another playmaker for your young quarterback. Not only that, it's like again you get him in the building once he can get reinstated. Like he's gonna win that offense quick now. So it's like hopefully next season, like there's not so much of a gap with him being there, right?
Yeah, and like a growing period, and
because he's already been in the building now, like he's got the playbook hopefully, so it's like he can learn it a bit quicker.
This is
it's just a little bit of a weird move though.
This is a good trade for Jacksonville though.
I agree.
A really good trade, because at one point we probably thought Ridley was what? Top 10 in the league at wide receiver? I mean, the dude's good, right? In my eyes, you know what I mean?
Maybe top 15. I don't know about top 10. Okay, maybe top 15.
Yeah. I'm just, top 15.
He's definitely number one target.
Yeah. He's a good route runner. Like, this is a really good move for Jacksonville. And from what I heard, since Ridley's suspended from the NFL right now, he's not able to be in contact with nobody. So Jacksonville hasn't even contacted or talked to Calvin Ridley, right? So this was all done through agents and things like that.
I don't think he'll be able to even come back until next year, isn't it?
He won't, correct.
He was suspended for the whole year.
But they did come out and say, I guess people from Calvin Ridley's camp has came out and said that he's still in shape, he's still ready, he's still training, things like that. So if he gets reinstated... I hope so.
You don't want to see an Eddie Lacy, you know?
No, for sure. If he gets reinstated, which is likely, I mean, he served his time, he fucked up, whatever. Like,
I mean, he served for 1 year. I don't see how he'd be out for any more than that.
No, 100%. So, big move for Jacksonville, a shocker. I've also heard some rumors that this has been in talks for a long time now. And I think it's really good that Jacksonville was able to get it done before the trade deadline and before the offseason.
The only thing I'm going to say is maybe there's something that the Falcons know that we don't know.
I don't think so, man. I think the Falcons just realize that they're taking a loss on Calvin Ridley.
It's a weird move.
No, 100%. Because like you said, you would think you would try to do it where he has some hype. Maybe you can get as much as you want possible. But I think they're just looking at trying to get draft picks to, you know what I mean, to make moves in the offseason, because that's where they're at right now. I mean, you wouldn't think they would have waited, but it's some, I don't know. It's different. Next we got, and again, remember, Miami traded away Chase Edmonds. So, Miami acquires Jeff Wilson from the 49ers and gave up a 2023 fifth-round pick, which Jeff Wilson is used to Mike McDaniel. They've been together. He was in San Francisco with Jeff Wilson. He's used to him. He likes him. This is a good trade, in my eyes. I liked this trade when it happened. And again, only for a fifth-round pick. I mean, I'll take that all day. Jeff Wilson isn't necessarily like a stud or, you know what I mean, top 5, top 10 in the league, but he's a good, solid running back. And we've seen it multiple times when he had to take over for when San Francisco's starting running back went out. How did he do in his first game in Miami, Nick?
I mean, he outplayed Raheem Mostert.
That's a good sign.
So they both had 9 carries. So Raheem Mostert had 26 yards. Jeff Wilson had 51. Wilson was averaging 5.7 a carry, whereas Raheem was averaging 2.9.
Okay.
Obviously, Raheem got the rushing touchdown. And then receiving-wise, Raheem had two targets. One of them was dropped. I remember that. I'm not sure what the other one was. And then Wilson had 3 targets for 21 yards, 3 catches, and he had 1 TD.
Yeah,
Receiving.
Receiving touchdown. Okay.
He honestly looked better than Raheem Mostert. So it's like, I'm not sure who's going to be starting. I'm sure it's probably going to balance itself out, like kind of like 1-2, like kind of how it was in San Fran maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It looks like a good move. He looks honestly explosive. Like he got that one ball, ran all the way to the pylon, boom, dove, caught like touchdown, just like that. He picked up a nice like blitz there. He was hitting the holes, running it. Like he looks good.
I mean, he's done good taking over this year in San Francisco when Elijah Mitchell went out. So I mean, he's definitely a solid running
experience.
back. Yeah.
Like,
and again,
he may not be your top 10, top 5, but it's like he can definitely get the job done.
Oh yeah. So another good move by Miami. Next one we have Denver acquires Jake Martin, outside linebacker, and a 2024 fifth round pick, and New York gets a 4th round pick. So the Jets traded away a linebacker and a 5th round pick to receive a 4th. Pretty solid trade. I mean, I don't know much about Jake Martin.
I've heard him before, but
yeah, I don't know how good
he is. It's only in like
yeah.
Madden.
Yeah, I assume if the Jets traded him away, he probably was like a backup for them, and they figured.
Yeah, I mean, judging off the value you got from him, it's not like anything crazy.
For sure. So we'll see how that works later in the future. Next, this was one of those ones. This was a weird one because it seemed like 2-3 days before the trade deadline, we all of a sudden hear that teams are calling about Nyheim Hines, which I didn't expect because I knew the Colts liked Nyheim Hines, and it was a nice little 1-2 combo. Jonathan Taylor's been dealing with some injuries, whatever. So, the Colts acquired Zach Moss and a 6th round pick in 2023, but can convert to a 5th. And the Buffalo Bills acquired Nyheim Hines, which I think is a good trade for Buffalo because they don't really run. It's bad, right? But they don't run the ball a whole lot. They use their running backs mostly in the passing game. And Nyheim Hines is...
Their running back is Josh Allen.
Yeah. Nyheim Hines is one of the better passing backs in the league. You know what I mean? Like, the dude is dynamic when it comes to that. So this is a good trade for the Bills. I don't know if it's going to have much impact for them. We'll see. And then the Colts pretty much just... They got a 5th round or a 6th round pick and then another running back. So... I don't think it's too terrible on the Colts part either.
They got rid of a receiving back basically for a power back with Zach Moss.
Essentially. So, not a terrible trade. I think it's fair on both sides.
He didn't even play because the guy that played in fantasy started him and didn't even.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't
even get a point.
But that was a weird game for Buffalo, which we'll break down.
Yeah, he didn't. Looking at the stats, he didn't even rush the ball.
Yeah. And
he had 1 target that wasn't caught.
Yeah, so we'll see.
No idea how it's going to work out. We'll have to see.
Next trade we got, which is the second to last one, the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons were kind of busy this trade deadline. Atlanta Falcons acquire Rashad Fenton, cornerback, from the Kansas City Chiefs for a 2023 7th round pick, which it says it's conditional.
Looks like it could be a 6.
So it might be a 6, yeah. So a 6th round pick for a cornerback.
No idea who the fuck this guy really is. No offense.
I've heard his name before. I don't think
it seems like it's like one of those like shot in the dark kind of.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You're picking someone up and giving him a 7, almost a 6 maybe.
And it's funny because we've seen a lot of times with cornerbacks.
Maybe a depth kind of trade maybe.
I feel like we've seen a lot of times where cornerbacks get traded from one team to another, and then the new team they're on, they get like this second life and start to be decent. I'm not saying he's going to come out and be the best in the league, but they do pretty decent in their new home, so we'll see what happens with this. The next trade we have is the Falcons send a 2023 the Falcons send Dean Marlowe, a strong safety, to Buffalo for a 2023 7th round pick.
Again, just looks like another depth trade
piece. Yeah, so we'll see how that works
because
out.
their safeties are Poyer and what's the other one's name?
It's bad we're forgetting it.
I can't remember. They're both like all pro.
Yeah, they're both really good safeties. So
I need to Google it. What's his name? Buffalo Bills. Oh my gosh! I forget what his name is, but he's so good. They're both good. Micah Hyde.
Yeah.
Jesus, how did we forget about Micah Hyde? So, looking at their depth chart, actually, that kind of trade makes sense. Even though he's a strong safety, Micah Hyde's on IR right now, which I kind of forgot about. So
who do they have at safety playing?
Poyer was out, so D. Marlowe might be starting because it says he's out right now.
Yeah.
They got Jaquan Johnson and then Damar Hamlin, sorry.
Yeah,
Damar Hamlin.
Their safeties have been bad this year. They've been banged up. So this year he'll probably get a lot of playing time, but I mean next year, of course, they'll have. Well, actually, I don't know because we saw Poyer is going to be a free agent, so we'll see what happens with that. So it could be a potential start in safety for them. It could just be a depth piece, but we'll see what happens with that. But again, like we said, really active trade deadline. Again, in my opinion, at least on the trade deadline day, November 1st, the three shockers for me were T.J. Hawkinson, Bradley Chubb, and Calvin Ridley. The three big trades that I think are going to work out for the teams that got the players. Like Miami, that should work out for them. Vikings, looks like it's working out for them already. And then Jacksonville, we'll see what happens next year, but I think that's going to be a really good trade for them.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So that pretty much breaks down the trade deadline. I guess next we can break down some news and injuries. I think the biggest news that we need to talk about, and it was kind of a shocker, and I don't know if it's so much a shocker to us because we can't find exactly what episode it was, but we've mentioned a few times that this guy is on the hot seat. And today it came out today that I'm struggling to talk today, man. Bad day to do a podcast. The Colts fired Frank Reich, the head coach. They fired him.
I think if you just put it to all transactions and update it, and it should be like the top one.
Ooh.
I think.
Ooh. Oh, yep, there we go.
Yeah.
I like it.
So as you can see right there, Frank Reich fired. Honestly, not shocked.
Not shocked at all. We saw it coming.
Not shocked.
We called it.
What I am shocked about, though, is the Jeff Saturday hire. Like, where the hell did that come from? Because we literally were talking about it, like, has he even been coaching? Is he on the staff? Like, we had no idea. And I remember seeing him on ESPN, I think it is, the odd time, like, you'll see him on there, and he gives his shitty takes. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm a little, like...
I'm flabbergasted, Nick. Like...
Yeah, like, hands on my head, like, what's going on? Like, this is the best hire you can find for now?
So for those of y'all that don't know, Jeff Saturday was a 6-time Pro Bowl center for...
With the Colts.
With the Colts, yeah. So he's experienced with the organization.
When Manning played there.
Yeah, when Manning was there, he was the center. Manning talks about him a lot. He is an ESPN analyst and is now going to be their interim head coach.
The only coaching we found was high school.
Yeah.
High school
Saturday has been a consultant for the team and is in its Ring of Honor and was also head coach for the Herman Christian Academy football team in Dacula, Georgia, which come to find out is a high school team. So, with that being said...
Like, he has no pro coaching experience at all.
No pro
Whether
coaching.
Whether that be, like, XFL or anything like that, or anything. Like, even positional coaching, he's never done it.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me, because it's like, he's a center. Of all things, like...
I mean, centers...
would have been a nice hire, but I know he wouldn't have ever done it, would have been Peyton Manning. Can you imagine?
That would be... yeah.
Little juice back in the team, but I know he would not do it. He would not do it.
No, he wouldn't. I mean, why would you want to be honest?
He's making money from doing ESPN with his brother. Like, he enjoys that way too much. But, I don't know. It's a weird hire. Adam Gase is out there. He's in high school, too. Why don't you give him a shot?
Yeah, so Jeff Saturday becomes the first NFL head coach with no college or pro coaching experience since Norm Van Brocklin went from the 1960 NFL MVP with the Eagles to coach of the Vikings in 1961. So this is only the second time. I mean, I'm sure it's not the second time, but in recent
Wait,
years.
spell that guy's name.
Norm, Norm.
Yep. Okay.
Space Van VAN space Brocklin.
Brocklin?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I got it,
BROCK.
Let's see how long he coached for. Let's see.
Just a shocker.
So you're talking about the Rams, right?
No, with the Eagles is when he coached the Vikings in 1961.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad. So yeah, he played as a player with the Rams. He played with the Eagles. He retired in 1960. Took up head coaching in 1961, and he lasted to 1966.
So, not bad, but not good.
Can I find where's his record? Head coaching record. So, his first year he went 3-11, 2-11, 5-8, 8-5, 7-7, 4-9. He finishes head coaching record at 29-51. Not good at all.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that they're going to hire Jeff Saturday as the coach unless he just somehow turns this team around and they make the playoffs. But even then, as an interim head coach, like, how do you not pick somebody from the staff? How do you not pick somebody that's
I just find it disrespectful that it's like you have all these other people that are working their way up, like basically like grinding their life away to be a coach, and then you give it to some fucking ESPN analyst, basically.
Yeah, but when you say that, who do you have in mind that would they have gotten? You talking about somebody
I'm
like
sure
Adam
there's someone on the
Gaze or
staff.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm sure
somebody
there's someone on the staff that
yeah.
like you could have given this chance to and given them a shot.
Yeah, no,
it's just
100%.
disrespectful, like a spit in the face to all these people that work hard and are grinding their way through the ladder, basically, and you just give it to this fucking guy.
Yeah. And like
I
said,
know they're not going to hire anyone from college until the end of the year. That's to be expected, but you could at least give someone a shot that is either a former coach. Like, there's former coaches out there too that you can give chances to. Like,
and
I don't know, it just makes no sense to me.
It's like I mentioned earlier. There just has to be something to where the owner just does not trust anybody on the staff, or maybe he's talked to Jeff Saturday about being a coach before. I don't even know, but it comes out of the blue that Jeff Saturday is going to be the interim head coach. Like, I think we expected Frank Reich to get fired, but typically when a head coach gets fired in the middle of the season, the next person that gets hired is the interim head coach, is like an OC or a DC or a quarterback's coach or somebody like that, you know what I mean? But to completely go outside of the staff is just crazy at the end of the day. I don't
just think it's disrespectful, like I said.
Yeah,
I think honestly at the end of the day it might be a favor type thing, like he's just buddy with the owner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think he's pulled strings and got a favor. That's what it might be, honestly.
And like I said, nothing against Jeff Saturday. I mean, it might work out. It might not. We really don't know. But, I mean, to hire somebody off the street, essentially, yeah, it's definitely something else.
It's unfair to all these people that actually are coaching and doing it, and you just give it to this guy. He hasn't even done anything probably since he's played. You know what I mean?
And I think I saw something that there's nobody on the Colts staff that has called plays in the NFL before. Because I think they did or did they not fire their OC as well? I thought they did.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but so the Colts are in shambles. I mean, we've said it. They haven't fucking played like they should have. I mean, we had them for favorites in the division, or one of the favorites in the division. You know what I mean? So it's crazy to see this hit this full circle like that.
Yeah, you're right. They fired Marcus Brady.
Yeah, I thought they did. So nobody's called plays on that team before, so we don't know who's going to be calling the plays. It'll be interesting to see. I doubt it'll be Jeff Saturday, but at this point, anything the Colts do
who knows?
could
Like
surprise me.
You don't have anyone that can call plays.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, and we'll break the Colts down a little bit more later. Yeah, that's the biggest shocker for news. I think that's really like all the news we got. We got some injuries though. Let's see. Where'd it go? So safety for the Giants, Xavier McKinney suffered a broken hand while on vacation during the bye week and will miss several weeks. I think they came out and said that they put him on the non-football related injury IR, I guess, and he's out till like week 13 at least, I think, already. So that kind of sucks. Dude's on a bye week injuring himself in a fucking, what was it, a four-wheeler accident?
Yeah, ATV.
Yeah, ATV accident. So that's just crazy to see. I mean, you can't be doing that. Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs has an ankle sprain, generally 4 to 6 weeks. I think they're doing more tests, but dude's probably going to be out for a bit. I think another one for the Packers had quite a bit of injuries, like 3 dudes left on like walking boots after their game. So they've been dealing with a lot. I think they lost, or they didn't lose, but Aaron Jones was in a walking boot. I think he has some sort of ankle sprain that they're doing tests on. We'll find out more about that. Defensive tackle for the Jets, Sheldon Rankins suffered a dislocated elbow. He can miss up to 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the healing process. I think another one is Josh Allen is likely to be limited this week because of an elbow injury suffered in the game. It's a situation to monitor, but it doesn't look like he's going to miss any time. I doubt it, being it's Josh Allen. You know what I mean?
The other one is Gregory Rousseau from the Bills as well. He had a high ankle sprain. I remember seeing that one.
Okay. So
It's a big loss for their defense there,
yeah,
defensive end.
100%.
Ow, sorry.
I think that's all I'm seeing right now. I'm sure there's more out there, but there wasn't a bunch
AJ
of,
Terrell, hamstring injury, he was out. That's a pretty big loss.
Is there,
Mark Andrews is out tonight. I don't know if you saw that one.
yeah, that one is
His knee, shoulder.
Yeah.
Gus Edwards is doubtful for tonight. Marcus Peters is questionable. Yikes.
Down bad. I think the Bills have a bye week coming up, right? Or did they not just have their bye week?
No, they already had it, right?
That is right, yeah. So they might need to figure that out with Josh Allen, see what happens with that.
I'll have to take it easy on him.
Yeah, for sure. That's all the injuries I got for now, Nick. You got any more?
I'm just going through.
Yeah, I was trying to fucking look through the Twitter and all the tweets and stuff, but literally 90% of them are talking
Oh yeah, Romeo
about
Doubs, diagnosed with high ankle sprain. That was a big
Yeah.
one. They're saying that Christian Watson didn't suffer a concussion.
That's good. He's been dealing with injuries all year, man. I think, defensive end for the Packers, Rashawn Gary's out for the season. He tore his ACL. That's a big one.
That's another good
So
good linebacker.
Yeah. The Packers are in shambles, man. Again, talk about that more when we break down the game.
Just scrolling through here real quick.
Yeah, you're good. So I think while Nick tries to find out if there's any more notable injuries, we're gonna be doing a quick little segment this week. We're gonna essentially be talking about the biggest disappointments so far through this season. It's gonna be a one-time segment, kind of like last week with the quarterbacks. We just want to break down and talk about the most disappointing team. I mean, teams we've had high hopes for that haven't necessarily panned out, and so on and so forth. I think Nick's gonna pick one, and I'll either pick one too, or we might just talk about one. We'll see what happens. But to be honest, the most disappointing team, there's a few of them that could be picked, of course, right? I'll let Nick break down his at first, and then we'll just talk about that. But yeah, this will be a new segment that we're doing this week. Nick, who's the most disappointing team to you so far through this week, or through week 9?
Go back to the Sport Track one for me, please.
Sport Track, yep.
And then go to positional spending.
Yep.
And then sort it by total. You just click the
Total.
top there.
Yep. There we go. Okay.
So, sorry, your stream's a little bit delayed. So
Very
as you
good.
see there, we have the Colts at the most. 180 million. Right?
Yep.
They're spending by far the most by almost what is that? 300,000, isn't it? 3 million?
3
Is that what
million.
it is, maybe?
3 million.
So looking at the team, they're spending 25 mil in DBs, which is like middle of the pack, it looks like.
Yeah.
They're spending 20 million on their linebackers. Like, they're spending a lot of money on the defense, I can see right there, right?
Yep.
And then they're spending 49, almost 50 million on the D-line. That is the second most,
Mm-hmm.
right? Their O-line, we've already been through this. They're spending the most on the O-line. 8.3 mil they're not spending a lot on. Tight end not spending a lot on. Running back they're not spending a lot on. But they're spending $22 million on a quarterback, right?
Matt Ryan.
1, 2, 3. So that would put them at 7th in quarterback spending. And then we go and look at their record, right, Craig?
Mm-hmm.
Their record is... Where are they? They are... Scroll down. They are 3-5-1. Right?
Yep.
Currently on a 3-game losing streak.
Yep.
This was a team that literally everyone was saying playoffs by far, right?
Yeah.
They upgrade from Carson Wentz to Matt Ryan.
Not the biggest upgrade, but in most
It was
people's eyes, an
definitely-
upgrade.
Yeah, I'm not talking like you're going from Carson Wentz to Mahomes or anything, but it was definitely talked about that this was an upgrade. You had the league leading rusher from last year. You finally were taking a Matt Ryan out of the Falcons and putting them onto a team with the most expensive O-line in the league, which was a pretty good O-line last year.
Arguably probably top 3, yeah.
A defense that, again, last year was not too bad.
Yeah.
And this team fucking sucks. Like, they don't do anything. They barely even put up points. Like, by far, this has to be one of the worst teams in the league, considering they play in one of the worst divisions.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, they had a chance to go out there and potentially win the division, make it up to the playoffs and do something, but it's like they suck. Like, Jonathan Taylor, by far, is the worst fantasy draft pick in probably ever, almost. Like, the longest time ever. Like, everyone claimed that he was going to be the first overall pick. He's fucking terrible. Hasn't done anything. Looking at the stats on ESPN here, Craig, they are 14.7 points per game. Take a guess what that is.
31st.
32nd. Dead fucking last. The next one is 15. That's the Steelers. Like, they suck, Craig.
Let's
look at their yards per game.
200.
They are averaging 315. Not bad. Again, puts them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bottom 5, basically.
Yikes.
Like, this team is fucking horrendous. Like,
I think, and my quick little take on it is, I think the Colts' disappointment literally boils down to their offensive line. When Matt Ryan was in there, had no time to throw, wasn't making the best decisions, was fumbling the ball. Like, I get it, had a lot of turnovers, but in my eyes, a lot of times quarterback turnovers are directly impacted by how much time they have to throw the ball. The O-line for the Colts has been so bad and so disappointing. They can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball. You had to switch off of your quarterback that you're spending 20 mil or whatever it is on, right? You benched him for Sam Ellinger, who's been around a year or two now, but hasn't even started an NFL game, and he doesn't look too bad, but again, can't score points, can't run the ball. Like, it's ugly, man. And again, I think it's all directly impacted on the fact that they're spending the most on offensive line at $41.5 million this year. And again, arguably last year, one of the best offensive lines out there. I don't know if they got a different O-line coach. I don't know what's going on there. But I don't know how you go from one extreme to the other, because right now they are bad. And, like, historically bad in my eyes.
They are the 30th team in rushing per game. 86.7 is what they're averaging.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's fucking
And I'm not
awful.
gonna put that all on Jonathan Taylor's hands. Like, the O-line is just not blocking, man. And again, I think it all just comes back to the O-line. Their defense is playing somewhat well. You know what I mean? Still, they're what's their defensive points per game? They've got to be pretty, like, stout. You know what I mean?
They're top. I think they're the top half. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4,
So
5,
they're probably giving up 20 points a game, which not
They're
ideal.
13th.
How many
They're
points
giving
a
up
game?
20.3.
Yeah. Wow, I'm fucking crazy at predicting that shit. Yeah. So middle of the pack defense, top half, giving up 20 points per game.
I mean, to be fair, their defense is like, I would say their defense is elite, because like when you look at the top half, they're giving up. The only one that's crazy good is the Bills at 14.8. Outside of that, the Broncos is 16, 16, 16, 18, 18,
Yeah.
19. Like,
All
what
around
is
the
that?
same.
2 points?
Yeah.
2 points. Like, they're pretty much elite defense.
Yeah, that's what you want out of your defense. So I won't put as much blame on the defense, but the offensive side of the ball, man, is just... And maybe it's the head coach. Maybe it was Frank Reich. I mean, we'll see what happens, but... disappointing
I think it's
thus
all
far.
on blame on the whole offense as a whole.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's fucking terrible. 14.7 points I said? That's fucking awful.
Yeah, and you figure you're spending... You're spending like $80 million on your offense.
$84 million of their cap is to their offense, which is almost 40%.
Yeah. And it's not like they don't have players on the offense. I mean, they got Michael Pittman,
Their quarterback
they got Alec
alone,
Pierce,
they're spending 10% of their cap on.
Yeah.
That would be ranked 10.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, again, no slouch at running back. They're paying him 31 out of 32 teams. Wide receiver, they're paying at 31. $9 million in their whole wide receiver room. Tight end is 14th in the league at 8.7.
So
Offensive line is 4th at 41 million. 19, almost 20% of their salary cap is towards their offensive fucking line.
Yep.
Like,
It's not good.
Braden Smith is their right tackle, I believe. Yep. He's making $11 million this season. 5.4% of the cap alone himself. Follow that up by their guard, Quentin Nelson. He's making $10.2 million. 4.7% of the cap. Ryan Kelly, center, 9.7 mil. That's at least 3 players right there that should be able to fucking handle the O-line. You know what I mean?
And they're just getting beat off the ball. They're looking bad.
Like, you have 5 players on the O-line. You have 3 of them that you're paying top dollar to.
Yeah.
Not only that, you also got their other guard, Matt Pryor, who they're paying $5.4 million to.
Yeah.
That should be a fucking nice O-line.
Absolutely. And it's just not.
Like,
It's
and
bad.
even then you're paying fucking Dennis Kelly, like...
Yeah.
I don't understand.
They're definitely not looking good, and something's got to give.
Oh,
But-
okay, wait. This helps you out, too, with understanding it. Their average on Sport Track, the average for O-line here is 4.2 mil, right?
Yeah.
So they're paying 1, 2, 3 people double the average.
Jesus.
And that's what they're at right now. That's embarrassing.
Oh, it's not good. I think I'll do a quick hit on my biggest disappointment. And we've talked about it before. I think we talked about them being a winner in the offseason. We had high hopes for this whole division, and I really would like to put the whole division in there as a whole. But I'll do a quick run through of one team. For me, it's got to be the 2-6 Raiders, man. I mean, you got Devontae Adams in the offseason. You added Chandler Jones to the defense. You added some other players on the defense that we talked about. Josh Jacobs is playing well. Again, Devontae Adams. You already had Derek Carr, who we've talked about is a good, solid quarterback. And you're just sitting at 2-6. I think me and Nick have talked about it, and I would not be surprised, and I'm sure he is, but Josh McDaniels is on the hot seat, right? He's got to be.
I'm not surprised, no.
And
I told you that I don't think he's going to be the next one fired. I think it'd be, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Who was the other one we were talking about? Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. I'm completely blanking right now.
You were talking about, what team was it?
Was it? Oh my god, I can't even remember what team it was now. Talking about the Cardinals.
You think that Brandon Staley will be the next one, the Chargers coach?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes,
yeah.
The Chargers coach would be fired. And then we also think that maybe it would be Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, so I think there's 3 on the hot seat right now, and if I were to rank the 3, it'd probably be, in my eyes, I think it's Josh McDaniels going to get fired next. I think Brandon Staley's on the hot seat for the Chargers, and I think Cliff Kingsbury for the Cardinals is on the hot seat. I think McDaniels is going to be the next one fired because something's got to give. The team's too talented. I know he just got there this year, and they typically, most teams don't try to fire people after the first year. Like, they give them time, whatever. But the way the league is as a whole now, teams aren't messing around. They want to win now. If they're making moves to win now, they need to win now. You know what I mean? We've talked about it before. You have this 3-4 year time period where you have to win, and typically after that, you're kind of in that middle of the pack stage where you're kind of just in a lull. You might make the playoffs here, you might miss it, whatever. I think it's going to be Josh McDaniels next. Nick thinks it's going to be the Chargers coach. Only reason I don't think it's going to be the Chargers coach is because they're sitting at what is it, 5-3? I think typically if your team's at 5-3, yeah, they're not performing necessarily how you expect them to, and they have some bad losses. But in my eyes, you're not going to fire a coach if they're 5-3. And we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, if they go on a losing streak, it's possible. I wouldn't be surprised by that firing either. You know what I mean? But I think the Raiders are just the biggest disappointment for me, man. Like, I don't know what to say about them. I don't get it. They're just bad. They're blowing leads, man. They blew the lead against the Cardinals. They blew the lead this week against the Jags. They blew the lead against the Chiefs. Like, they're just not closing games out at the end of the day. And I typically feel like when I look at a team that can't win a game, and if they have the lead and they can't close it out and finish the game, it's got to be coaching, man. Because you're talented to get the lead on this other team. I mean, they were up 20-0 on the Cardinals. They choked the lead. In my eyes, that's coaching. The coach isn't being good enough to fucking keep on these players, to keep fucking going, keep playing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's ugly.
I actually had a good comment here by Janine saying that you don't. She's talking about Ron Rivera being fired.
The Commanders coach.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about it, but yeah, I mean that's a good point.
Yeah, he could definitely, because they do have.
Look at the teams on paper here. Colts already fired their coach. Steelers probably not. Broncos, I don't think so. You're committed for that. Rams are committed to that. Texans, I don't know. Packers, I don't think so. Commanders, I would see. Buccaneers already just did it. Titans, no. Panthers already did. Giants, no. Bears, no. Jets, no. 49ers, no. Cardinals, maybe. Chargers. And maybe the Saints, like, not fire them, but, like, replace them, maybe.
That's the same thing. To me, the Texans situation is the same as the Saints. Like, both of those coaches are kind of bridge coaches. Probably not going to be the guy in the long term.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not surprised on him, but
yeah,
Washington. Yeah, I think
Washington could be
fired.
one. Yeah, no, for sure. He's kind of in that situation to where they should be performing a little bit better than they are. I mean, they're sitting at what I think it is 4-5. Not terrible, but not good. So
I just can't go over how bad that defense is,
Yeah,
concerning the players that are on that defense.
I mean, Chase Young hasn't played yet, so I feel like that's a big piece. But even then, you still got some studs on that D-line that just doesn't play well. Or that haven't been necessarily performing to where they were drafted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think those are two good picks for most disappointing teams with the Colts and the Raiders. I mean, they were both... I know the Colts missed the playoffs last year on that one game at the end of the year against the Jags. I get that. But essentially, the Raiders and the Colts were both playoff teams last year, right? And they added pieces in the offseason, and now they're 10 times worse than they were last year. It's just not a good sign. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I agree.
So that's probably going to wrap up our segment of most disappointing teams thus far. We'll probably be adding some segments here and there just to talk about little things that we don't really get to talk about a whole lot when we break down each week's games and do predictions and things like that. So I know we talked about doing an episode revisiting our winners, losers of the all seasons, our rankings and things like that.
Yep.
We didn't get to it this weekend because the Astros game was on Saturday night, which is when we were probably going to do the podcast episode. Astros won a World Series. Let's fucking go, baby. But with that being said, we'll get to that at some point. I do still want to do that video. I just don't know when we'll get to it, but we'll definitely do it here soon. With that being said, I guess we can go ahead and get into our Week 9 recap.
Go back to Monday night.
Yeah. Didn't we... We already talked about Monday night.
Oh, we
did that.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
We did that episode
We
after
did
the
it.
game.
We did it, yeah, when the game was on.
Yeah.
Correct.
So Week 9, breaking down Week 9. Again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, like, this was a really good week of football in my eyes. Like, you had some close games. Pretty much every game was close. You had a couple blowouts, but just good overall football. Starting off Thursday night, we had the Eagles and the Texans. Eagles get another win. I know for a lot of people...
Wasn't a dominating win.
Yeah, and it's tough because, yes, it wasn't a dominated win, absolutely. But if you look back to how the Texans have played everybody this year, they've played them pretty well. Like, their defense is not bad. Like, I know there's not a whole lot of notable names on there. I know they're 1-6-1.
The no-name defense.
You know what I mean? Like, but if you look at every team they've played, they've kept them close. You know what I mean? I feel like the biggest problem with the Texans right now is the offense. They just can't move the ball. And what happens when you can't move the ball on offense? Defense gets tired. Yep, you know what I mean? Just same old, same old. Eagles definitely didn't play their best game. But, again, it's the NFL. That's how it is. Yeah. The Texans, I will say about the Texans real quick. Coming into the season, there was a lot of people saying that Davis Mills was the guy and he was going to be a good quarterback and an okay quarterback. Y'all are fucking delusional, man. Like, I've never once looked at Davis Mills and thought, wow, he's the quarterback of the Texans' future. He can be a good game manager and get things done. Fuck that, man. Fuck that. I'm sorry. He's so bad.
Don't be apologizing. I think if you're drafting quarterbacks to be game managers, you're already failing. To be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no fucking way in the world that you're not drafting someone just to not turn the ball over, essentially. Like,
yeah, no, 100%.
You need someone that you're drafting that's gonna change the game type of thing. Like,
yep.
He's gonna send your team and be better than the average. Oh, I just throw it 2 yards and he runs it for 10. Like,
yeah, and the Texans are in a good spot because they got John Mechie coming back next year with coming back from leukemia. You got Dameon Pierce, who is a certified stud already in my eyes. The dude's disgusting.
Just keep tanking, and eventually you'll get the next Manning.
Fuck, at this point, I feel like they're going to get a Bryce Young, a CJ Stroud, somebody out of this draft class, which, again, are the top prospects in the draft class. They should easily be able to get one of those because they'll probably have the number 1 draft pick, if not number 2 or 3, somewhere around there. So they'll get a quarterback in this draft, and if they don't get a quarterback in this draft, I don't know how I can continue being a Texans fan, man, because I don't know. It's just bad. Moving on to the Chargers and the Falcons. Again, like I said in the predictions.
I was gonna say real quick, as of right now, they have the first overall pick.
Yeah. Okay. So they're in line for that, which I don't see them.
I'll just read the top 10 real quick. It's Houston, Carolina, Vegas, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Jacksonville, Arizona, Chicago, Green Bay, and then Philly via New Orleans.
Okay. So with that, the Texans.
So keep on tanking, Texans.
I don't see them winning many games. It might be one more. We'll see. But Chargers, again, like I said in the predictions, the Chargers always play bad against bad teams. I know they're missing Keenan Allen. I know they're missing Mike Williams, but it's we've said it all year. The Chargers are just disappointing too. Like, they're still finding ways to win some of these games, and they're sitting at a good record, but it just seems like
winning ugly.
Yeah, just not good-looking games at the end of the day. So we'll continue to see what happens with that, see if they can figure it out, turn it around, but it just doesn't look good sometimes, man, watching those games.
What?
Next we got the Dolphins at the Bears. Nick, I'll let you break this one down. I think he's talking to his dad real quick. So the Dolphins beat the Bears 35-32. This was a pretty good, this was an exciting game. I mean, you got Tyreek Hill running all over the field, Jalen Waddle running all over the field. I mean, the Dolphins' offense just looks so dynamic and so fun to watch. But their defense just struggled against Justin Fields. I mean, I think he set the record and beat Mike Vick's record for most rushing yards in a single game. Justin Fields has been on the come up in the last, 4 or 5 weeks, and he's just starting to look like a better quarterback. I'd like to see him throw the ball a little bit more instead of running, but we've always knew that running was kind of his strength, so we'll see what happens with that. But he's looking like he could be one of the better ones in that draft class that we've talked about plenty of times on this podcast. Nick, what do you got to say about this game?
I just think it was again another offensive dominating game for the Dolphins. Like, Tua comes back in and they put up 35 points. Could have put up more points. A couple mistakes there at the end of the game from Tua. Missed the one throw that was a little bit low. Kind of a weird. What I told you, the guy turned around for whatever fucking reason on 4th down. I don't know what he was doing. What he thought he was gonna do. It's 4th down, just catch the ball and keep the chains going. And then the other. This is like I said, Tua had 2 missed plays that I would say. Like, that was the one on 4th down. The other one was, again, on 3rd down, the deep throw to Waddle. If he doesn't, float it, he kind of just throws it. Boom, that's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Game's over. All said and done. It's whatever, no problem. But got a little hairy there at the end. But like I said, the defense plays like ass, man. Like, running quarterbacks have always been, like, their Achilles heel. Like, Josh Allen has literally destroyed us by just running all over us. Also, too, he's gotten better at passing, so he's been passing all over us. We can't stop that guy. But Justin Fields here, like I said, it was looking like Michael Vick. Like, just missed tackles after missed tackles. Like, it's so annoying to watch. Like, it's like not like coaching, I would say, because like they're in position to make the plays. They just don't make the plays at the end of the day.
And do we think that's because Fields is a better athlete, or they're just not making the plays?
I mean, it's a bit of both. Like, missed tackles from professional football players shouldn't be happening, but at the same time, it's like, these are top 1% players. Like, sometimes the guy makes a play. Like, he was elusive as fuck making plays. I will say he looks great as a runner, but at the end of the day, it's not running back, it's quarterback. He didn't really pass the ball a lot, to be honest. And again, I'm not dissing him or anything like that, but he's just got to improve on that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, when he couldn't really run for the yards because the time was running out, he didn't look great. Like, they stopped him pretty fast, pretty easy at the end of the game there.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's got to improve on that aspect. Because their last 2 drives, they basically just stalled out. Like, that was it. Because like I said, they got the ball back. Tua missed the throw. And then the Bears got the ball. Or sorry, yeah, he missed the throw on 4th down. They turned it over. They got the ball back. They didn't really do anything with it. Punted it back to the Dolphins. Tua misses the throw to Waddle. And then again, they stopped them again for the game to be over. Like, He's got to step up in passing, and I think he'll be not too bad.
Yeah, I think he's on the incline to come up. You know what I mean?
He's still learning, so
yeah, still learning, still figuring out his identity in the league and things like that. So I mean, again, the Dolphins' offense, man, just looks so much more dynamic and better with Tua than it did with Bridgewater or Skylar Thompson. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to.
I'm gonna say it, Craig. Like, I've looked at the stats. The guy is. Honestly, if you're not going to say he's on an MVP level, then, like, you're just a hater at this point. Like, the guy's put up numbers, like, ridiculous numbers. Like, Tyreek's already had 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah, Tyreek's on pace for, like, 2,000, 2,100 yards, something like that, which would break the record.
Like, it is insane, the pace that he is on.
What's even crazier, Nick, is Tyreek.
And then you have Waddle. It's like right there too.
That's what I was going to say. Tyreek will probably break the record for yards in a season, and then Waddle will still have 1,500, 1,600 yards. Like, it's just crazy.
Like, there's just no way you can't say he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like, without being a hater. Like, if you disagree with that, then, like, I don't know what to tell you. You're not a football fan. Because, like, listen to these stats right here. Passer rating for Tua this season. First, 115.9. Yards per attempt, 9.17. First. Pass TD per attempt, 6.9%. First. Winning percentage, 8.57. Third. Completion percentage, 69.9. Third. Pass TD to interception ratio, 15. He's at 15 TDs, 3 interceptions. He's third. Like, those are MVP numbers.
Yeah. And I mean,
like, it doesn't matter how you put it. And he's missed 3 games. You gotta account for that too. He's missed 3 games. Like, the guy's balling out this season. Like,
and in my eyes, like, if you're gonna have that conversation and try to say that Jalen Hurts is in the MVP race, then you have to put Tua up there too, because they're putting up similar numbers. You know what I mean? Like, and that's even with, like, Jalen Hurts playing the whole time and Tua missing 3 games or the 2.5, whatever it was. You know what I mean? 3 games. So. Yeah, if you're putting Jalen Hurts in there, like, you have to put Tua in there.
The thing is, like, yeah, these wide receivers are dynamic, they're good as fuck, and, like, they were still putting up yards, but they weren't scoring points at the end of the day. Yeah. Like, you can see how much the offense dipped from when Tua was in to when Tua was out.
Oh, 100%.
Like...
And that's typically what an MVP is. They changed the formula of the team, they helped the team win. You know what I mean? Like... That's the same reason why people are saying Jalen is in there, because they're 8-0. You know what I mean? He's helping his team win. Same thing with Tua. They haven't lost this season yet when he's played, right? When he played a whole game.
But aside from that game, in his last 13 games, he's 12-1.
Yeah, but the Bengals game,
with
he left
the loss
early,
being the Bengals one. Yeah.
Yeah, when he plays the whole game, they haven't lost this year. So it's like, if you're not looking at that saying, holy shit, then, yeah, you know what I mean?
He's been incredible, man.
Yeah,
he's been great to watch. Especially the last 2 weeks, he's been basically playing perfect football. Like, like I said, he missed 2 throws that game, and it's like every quarterback misses throws. Like,
it's gonna happen.
I don't really care. I'm not gonna nitpick it. Like, it is what it is.
Next we have the Carolina Panthers at the Bengals, and don't get confused looking at this score thinking 42-21. It was just a. You know what I mean? Like, not too much of a difference in score. It was a fucking
blowout.
It was a blowout from the get-go. They scored 21 points at the fucking last second just because the Bengals just said, fuck it, we won. It's over. You know what I mean? Like, Bengals pulled their starters in, like, the third quarter. Like, they were up, 35-0 at the half. Fucking Joe Mixon had 4 touchdowns before halftime. Like, dude ended up with 5 touchdowns. Just absolute obliteration by the Bengals. And... it's good to see them actually run the ball and do different things without Jamar Chase. I'm not saying that they found their way to win without Jamar Chase, because it's against the Panthers.
They looked awful against the Browns, but I don't know. It's like they're on a weird streak where it's like they play like ass and then they show up and just beat the piss out of someone, and then they play like ass and then beat the I don't know.
They're being very inconsistent this year, and that's why you look at their record and they're 5-4. Like, a lot of games they shouldn't have lost. A lot of games they should have won. Like, it just... very inconsistent this year out of the Bengals. That's why even 4 or 5 weeks in, I couldn't tell you if they were going to be the Bengals like last year or if they were going to be something different.
Even now, you still can't really tell.
Yeah, you still can't tell. I mean...
I don't know.
Because you can make the argument it's against the fucking Panthers. You know what I mean? Like, Yeah, I know the Panthers beat the Bucks and all that, but like it's the Panthers. You know what I mean? They're struggling.
Bucks are terrible too. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So,
these teams, there's a lot of bad teams this year. It seems like.
And I wouldn't go so far as to say bad for the Bengals. Or are you talking about the Panthers and the Bucks?
I'm talking about the Panthers.
Okay,
like, there's just a lot of like teams that, like, they're either really like mid or like they're just terrible.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of mid.
There's very
teams
few like. There's not, to me, like I was telling you earlier, there's not like a team that's like a juggernaut. Like, oh, this team's gonna go undefeated. This team's gonna be like unbeatable. Like, all these teams look like they have a weakness somewhere that you can exploit. Whereas like years past, like you'd be like, okay, that team's going to Super Bowl. You can't stop the Patriots. You know what I mean, or something like that. Whereas like right now, I'm looking at these teams. I'm like, you can stop them somehow if you figure them out. Like, there's ways to beat these teams for sure.
Absolutely.
But real quick, while we're on the Panthers here, I talked about this to you earlier. This is the trade that didn't happen, but it was rumored on. There's two of them. The first one I'll talk about real quick was the DJ Moore one, go to the Packers for a first-round pick. Would you have done that or no?
What side am I on? Am I the Packers or am I the Panthers?
If you're on the Panthers, I guess. Because, I mean, the Packers, they want
I think I would want a little bit more for DJ Moore because I'm not the biggest fan of DJ Moore, but I think he's a little more proven, and you know what you're getting for him versus drafting a wide receiver in the first round. Yeah, you know what I mean? I think that trade I probably would have kept DJ. Okay.
So then for the second trade here, the Rams offered, it was 2 first-round picks. So the offer would have been a first in 2024, a first in 2025, and then a second in 2023. Would you have done that trade for Brian Burns?
Where do I sign?
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why they didn't accept that trade. It makes no sense to me. I know it's the Rams, but like at the end of the day, you never know like where that pick ends up. And not only that, people value first-round picks. So it's like you can package those up to move up in the draft. Like, you could say, oh, I'm going to take my 28 first-round pick, take my the pick that I had next year as well, so that I got from them, right? And then move all the way up to the top 10 and get 2 players in the top 10 or 2 players in the top 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many different ways that you can go about using those picks that it's like, it's incredible to me that they didn't make that trade. Because at the end of the day, you're going in a fucking rebuild.
Yeah.
Until you find a quarterback, in my opinion, that rebuild is not even close to being over. You know what I mean? And I think that's got to be the mindset for these teams. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a team.
Yeah. And I was telling this to Nick earlier that I know the Panthers value Brian Burns as like a cornerstone of their franchise, and they want to build the defense around him, and they're going to extend him, and that's going to be their guy on the defensive side of the ball. Like, I get that. But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to look at it from a business perspective as a whole, team as a whole. And if somebody's offering you 2 first rounds and a second round for one guy, and you're in a rebuild, it's not like you're competitive right now. You're in a rebuild. I'm taking that 10 out of 10 times. Like, I'm sorry. 2 first round picks, you could literally go get two Brian Burns. And then you're even still there with a second round pick.
You go get another Brian Burns.
Yeah, so it's like, what the fuck, man? What are we doing
That's 3
here?
guys on a D1 that can rush the quarterback.
Yeah, like, fuck, man. That is too much for one guy that it's hard to pass up. Like, if that trade rumor is genuinely true. At the end of the day, too,
it's 2 first-round picks. What fucking defensive end not named Aaron Donald is worth 2 fucking first-round picks?
TJ Watt, Myles Garrett. Probably the only 2 I would maybe put up.
That's what I'm saying.
There.
Like, there's no way, you're putting Brian Burns in that kind of caliber. Yeah. There's just no way.
Because there hasn't been any talk. Like, truthfully, anybody out there that's not a Panthers fan, like, you could be a football fan, please tell me that you've heard this much hype around Brian Burns up until 4 or 5 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, nobody. You know what I mean? That's not even a thing. It's not a question. Like, this hype from Brian Burns only came up 4 or 5 weeks ago because they realized the Panthers were fucking selling everybody and they were going after him. So it's like, I knew who Brian Burns was, but I even asked you, I said, is Brian Burns even that good? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get where this hype from this guy is coming from. Like, is he a good pass rusher, good defensive end? Yes. But 2 first rounds and a second? Again, where the fuck do I sign?
Think so.
Come on, man. Moving on to the Packers and the Lions. We called this upset. I knew it was going to happen.
Upset. We both called it. We both picked the Lions.
That's what I'm saying. We called this shit. Like, the Packers are ugly, man. They just dropped, 5 in a row?
They fucking suck.
They fucking suck.
Put Matt Lafleur on there too. He might be fired, honestly.
He actually might be. Rodgers should have retired. The Lions.
This has honestly been a work in progress. Watching the Packers just self-destruct.
Yeah.
Like you let one of your best defensive players go, in Zadarius Smith, to not only you let him go, but you let him go to the division rival, the Vikings. Look at their record, 7-1. It's working out pretty beautifully for them. At one point, up to this week, I think he was leading the league in sacks.
Yeah.
So again, there you go. Let that guy go. And then it's like you're paying all this money to all these players, and it's like they're just injury prone as fuck. Like David Bakhtiari, left tackle, he barely even plays anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guy's been always injured. Like, it's insane. And it's like your wide receiver core got so much worse because you got rid of Devontae Adams now. And it's like, it's just a clusterfuck. Like, the team is in shambles. This team needs to strip it down and rebuild itself back up. There's just no way.
It's crazy to think that we even had any hype as like a whole NFL fan base had any hype or excitement for the Packers this year because, like you said, it's been a work in progress for their destruction. Like, how have we not seen all the signs and realized the Packers are going to fucking blow? Like, I think we even said at the beginning, like, we think the Vikings might win the division, but it's going to come down to the Packers who'll probably end up winning it and the Vikings get a wild card. Like, we even said that at the beginning of the year, and here we are. The fucking Packers are sitting at 3-6. Like, I don't think anybody expected this. But it's just crazy that we didn't expect this. We saw all the signs, like Nick said.
I will say we will be. I will say this. We did say it's MVP Aaron Rodgers, and although he's missing weapons, he's got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he's not figuring it out, and he's not. That's the big thing that we also said. Because I remember clearly as all fuck saying that.
Yeah.
Like he's an MVP, back-to-back MVP, like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like he has to figure it out, and they're just.
And that's why we even said that the Packers would probably win the division. You know what I mean?
Just because of their quarterback, but again, it's just not working out.
Nah, you lose to the Lions, just give up, trade them all away.
That's all I'm saying. They need to. They're spending They're spending the fourth most money in the NFL.
Yeah, most of that's probably the quarterback in it.
They are fifth in quarterback money.
Yeah.
Their wide receiver room's like the fucking fifth worst.
God damn. It shows. Next we got the Raiders at the Jaguars. Jaguars are 3-6. I've said this before. I don't think the Jaguars are gonna win or make the playoffs, but I think they're gonna have more wins this season. Yeah,
they're making strides.
They're getting there.
You can't expect, like I said, you can't expect too much out of a team with back-to-back first overall picks. Like, you just can't expect a turnaround that
It's not going to happen overnight, man. I mean, the only time we've seen that is with the Bengals, but that was just like a
And that was a fluke season, because look at them now. They're 5-4, struggling.
So, the Jaguars are making stride. We talked about the Ridley trade. There's a lot of excitement happening in that building in
They're
my
building
eyes.
around that Trevor Lawrence. They're building around that young guy.
Travis Etienne is a fucking stud. That dude's disgusting. 2 touchdowns
this
week,
now,
109 yards.
I'll say it right now. You look at all these young quarterbacks. What do, Craig? You take a Josh Allen, mediocre stats his first couple of years, had a nice season right before they got Diggs, kind of, right?
Yep.
Boom, get Diggs, launches himself up to top 5, top 4, top 3, whatever his quarterback, right? Boom, done. Next year, what do you get? Jalen Hurts. Oh, what do? They go get A.J. Brown. Boom, catapults himself from being an average, mediocre, playing not too bad, boom, into stardom. Tua Tagovailoa. Not only did they give them Waddle, but they also give him Tyreek fucking Hill. Boom, launch himself to top 3. Like, you've seen it. The recipe for success has been out there now. It's the blueprint. It's out there. Everyone's seen it now. These young quarterbacks, they need fucking players. I also forgot, too, look at Joe Burrow. They gave him Jamar Chase. They gave him Tyler Boyd. T. Higgins was also in the same draft class that he was in, I'm pretty sure. So it's like they also have Joe Mixon. Like, they are surrounding these young quarterbacks with talent. Same can be said about Justin Herbert with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Jared Everett. Like, they are giving these young guys playmakers, and that's what you need when you're trying to win these offensive games. Because this is what the league is becoming. Offensive heavy now.
And the Jags are getting there, man. I hear me out. Early take, right? Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked the best, hasn't looked the worst, right? We've talked about that plenty of times.
He's only in year
two.
2 now, though. So it's like year 3 is where you got to see the huge jump, I feel like.
Yeah, listen to...
And like I said, coming in his year now, he's going to have, what, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, and then Travis Etienne, and then what's their tight end, isn't it?
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's not bad.
Here's my take. Next year, Jaguars make the playoffs.
I mean, I don't think it's bad. What they play in the South, right?
Yeah,
with the Colts,
the Titans,
the Texans. So it's like, again, that division to me is like up for grabs. Like any of those teams any of those other 3 teams except for the Titans can jump up and take the whole division. That division sucks.
In my eyes, I think Trevor Lawrence takes the next step next year and has like, I'm not saying he's going to be like Josh Allen, but I think he takes that quote unquote Josh Allen step that he took.
Yep.
He gets Calvin Ridley. He's got that weapon, that star-studded number 1, essentially. You know what I mean? With the help of Christian Kirk, he's got the weapons now. I think Trevor Lawrence takes that next step next year, and then they make the playoffs, and the Jaguars don't look half bad. I feel like that's a very possible thing. We'll see.
I mean, yeah, I told you, like, you've seen it. Like, Josh Allen, Tua, Hurts.
All of them, dude.
Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, like, all these quarterbacks, they all need weapons.
Yeah.
You can sit there and say, oh, this guy can play with nobody. I've only seen Tom Brady fucking do it.
Yeah, and you can even make the argument from Mahomes. He has Kelsey, so it's like everybody has that at least one guy that they.
He also has Juju Smith-Schuster. Yeah. Don't act like Juju Smith-Schuster.
And he had Tyreek that whole time. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't act like fucking. He's playing with like fucking plumbers out there.
Yeah,
like,
he's not. He's fucking.
Juju was definitely a nice fucking wide receiver, and they drafted Sky Moore. Obviously, he hasn't done anything, but. It's like.
Yeah.
I just hate when people act like say, "Oh, this guy's playing with nobody." It's like, no, he's not. He's got players around him.
Yeah.
Unless you're Herbert, where your guys are hurt right now, like that's really it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can make the case maybe for Lamar, but he still has fucking Andrews, so he's got that safety blanket.
Until Andrews got hurt now. But
yeah. Next, and again, Raiders. They were up, I think, 20-3 in this game and choked it. Again, Raiders disappointing. Next, we have the ultimate toilet bowl, the Colts at the Patriots.
I don't even need to talk about it, dude. Like,
we're moving on.
Colts are fucking terrible. The Pats, they're just kind of average this year, but it's Bill Belichick. They're finding ways to win like they always do. He's talked about it millions of times by now. Like, they just take away. I want to see the Patriots play the Bills. I don't know when they play them, but that's going to be an interesting game for me because I'm curious to see how they play Allen. You know what I mean?
Have they not played this year yet?
No, the Bills are 0-2 in division games this year. They played the Jets and they played the Dolphins. That's it. I don't know when they play them. It has to be. I know it has to be near the end of the year because we play our last 4 games. We play 3 of our division games. That's gonna be tough.
The Bills week 13.
They play week 13 is the first game,
and then I think week 18 or something.
That's a Thursday night game, so
yeah,
that's gonna be really interesting to see how that works out.
Yo, get this though. Hold on, real quick before we move on to the next game. Since we're talking about the Bills, right? The Bills are sitting at 6-2, which we'll break this game down a little bit more. They obviously lost, right? Sitting at 6-2. They play Minnesota this week. Could potentially lose that game, right? Then they play Cleveland, probably win that game. Then they play Detroit, probably win that game. Then they play New England. Like you said, how are they going to play against Josh Allen? I mean, we can maybe say they might lose that game, but they'll probably win that game. We'll see, though. That's going to be a tough one. Then they play New England. Then they play the Jets, who they just lost to. Then they play Miami, who they lost to already. You know what I mean? So, like, towards the end, the Bills could potentially, I mean...
I think they're going to make the playoffs, but they might not win the division.
They're definitely going to make the playoffs.
Grabs.
But that's what I'm getting to. Like you said earlier, like, this division is still up for grabs for the Jets, for Miami, for the Bills. Like,
it's
they're
not
all sitting
unlocked
at 6
as a lot
wins.
of Bill fans and a lot of analysts thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
This was a team, I remember hearing, like, this team's going undefeated. They're never going to lose a game. They can't lose a game. They have the best defense, best offense. And it's like, it happens. Like,
the Bills can end up with 4 or 5 losses, Nick. Like, I would not be surprised.
They are 6-2 right now, with the Jets at 6-3 and the Dolphins at 6-3. Like,
and even the Pats at 5-4.
Tight fucking division.
Yeah.
Like, it is not over until it's over.
Yeah. And I think it just boils down to, and that'll take us into talking about this game. The Bills are just too one-dimensional, man. You have to run the ball against better teams. It just helps. Like, of course, there's other cases, like, and you can still win games without running the ball. But to win these games dominantly and do what the Bills like to do, you got to be able to run the ball, man. And I just feel like that is their biggest weakness. And it boils down to the same. You got to find a little bit of
balance somewhere.
Yeah, and it boils down to the exact same thing with the Chiefs. Like, and it just hurts them by not being able to run the ball well, man. I mean, it feels like every game the Bills only rush with a running back for 30, 40 yards, if that. You know what I mean? Like,
and then Josh Allen's running it for fucking 80 yards.
Yeah, so it's like, I get you got the running quarterback, and that's where you get your running in, but that's not the same as running the ball with the running back.
Looking at the stats here, so Josh Allen threw it 34 times. They only ran it 8 times with Singletary. Josh Allen himself ran it 9 times for 86 yards.
That's just not a winning recipe in my eyes.
I mean, I've told you this before. I worried about Josh Allen getting hurt.
Yeah.
Just because he's doing so much.
He is. And I mean, he is dealing with an injury now, so look at that.
I mean, yeah, he got an elbow injury, so it's like, I don't know. It's like you're asking the guy to do way too much in this game, and I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that kind of hero ball, it almost seems like. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
It's almost like how Mahomes was, like throwing it 68 times and running it. Like, we'll get to that game too, but it's like, I don't know. Those recipes aren't sustainable in my opinion. Like, you can't put up Madden video game numbers every week and expect to win. Like, and that's kind of a big reason why they lost this game. Like, he didn't play as good passing wise.
Yeah.
And like, one of the greatest analogies that I've heard of is like how Pat McAfee was talking about Madden, right?
Yeah.
Your Madden character every week is playing as 90 overall, but NFL players aren't always like that. Sometimes they wake up, he ain't feeling 100%. You know what I mean? So maybe he's playing like a 70 overall, like not very good at all. Like, he's average. Or one week maybe he wakes up, I'm playing like the best I've ever felt. He's playing like a 95. The other week he's playing like a 80.
That is a good
like
analogy.
It's so up and down. Like, you can't simulate every week of Josh Allen putting up 400 yards and like 5 TDs, 3 TDs, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes he's gonna miss throws. Like,
yeah, nobody's. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human. You're not gonna come out and be perfect every game. You know what I mean? As much as players like to, it's just not gonna happen.
I mean, like I said about Tua, like, he missed 2 throws. Like, he was pretty much perfect with that, but it's like, you're not gonna be perfect. Like, you're gonna miss a throw here and there. Like, some of these throws are gonna go in the ground, some of them are gonna go over the air. Like, Josh Allen played one of his best games I've ever seen him play as a Buffalo Bill, and he lost the game against the Dolphins because he threw the ball, game-winning touchdown. He threw it in the dirt.
Yeah,
it happens. Like,
it does.
Like, these are the best of the best, but it's like sometimes you miss the throw. Just like a pitcher in baseball, like, he can be throwing a perfect game, but he missed a spot and boom, buddy, hits it over the wall.
Yep.
Like, it's all it is at the end of the day.
Breaking down this game though, the Bills at the Jets. I watched I got on last night after the games, and I went to my setup and I rewatched a lot of the highlights for this game specifically, just because it was kind of a lower scoring game. I watched Red Zone. It didn't show a whole lot of highlights on Red Zone, so I wanted to see what happened. Yeah.
I saw the Josh Allen interception, and that's like all I really remember.
So I wanted to see what happened, right? So in my eyes, watching the highlights back, the Jets defense was just too much for Allen, right? And I don't want to take anything away from the Jets defense by saying this, but Allen didn't play his best game. We all know that. We all saw it, right? Yep. But the Jets defense, their pass rush was getting to him, kind of had him in shambles. They were not only were they getting to him, they were containing him. Like, yeah, I know Allen ran the ball 9 times, but he's going to run the ball 9 times no matter what, right? But they were containing him in the pocket to where they could get around, sack him. I know specifically at the very end of the game, they sacked him, fumbled the ball, then they recovered it for like a 15-yard loss. So the Jets' defense, their pass rush was just getting to them, and the coverage down the field was good because you got DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner, like, they were just on them like white on rice. So it was just causing the pressure to get there. A lot of them I feel like might have been coverage sacks, which sack is a sack, you know what I mean? The Jets' defense is looking really nice, and I know we had Tyler on here, and he made that prediction to where by the end of the year, the Jets' defense is going to be top 10, and right now, it's looking like it. Like, I made the case to him, I was like, yeah, well, they're not going to be able to score that well, and it's going to get the defense tired, so I could see them finishing top 15, top 20 because of that. But right now, the Jets' defense is locking teams down. You know what I mean? On the other side of the ball, Zach Wilson. It's funny how they come out and they upset the Bills the week after we make the Zach Wilson video or whatever. You know what I mean? I tore his ass up last week.
We're not wrong. Like, no, we're not wrong.
Yeah, and that's my point. Like, Zach Wilson...
The guy threw for fucking 154 yards on 25 attempts.
Yards.
Like,
I don't even think he had a passing touch. Or no, he had one passing touchdown, I think, right?
Yeah.
He had like 18 for like 24 or 18 for 30
18
or
for
something
25
like that.
for 154.
Okay.
8.6 attempts. Or 8.6 yards average.
So, Zach Wilson did what he needed to be done. But what did we say earlier? What did we say how the league is nowadays? You're typically not going to win.
You took this guy second overall to be a fucking
game
manager, essentially.
Like, that's not what you want in this league nowadays, especially not from a number 2 overall pick. And again, that'll work, and you'll never live up to the number 2 overall pick because of that. But at the end of the day, it's NFL. All you want to do is win games, right? That to the side, that doesn't matter. For me,
that type of formula is going to win you like maybe 5, 6, 7 games.
Yeah.
Maybe gets you 8. But you're not going to go to the Super Bowl probably very often, if ever, unless your defense and a run game is immaculate. Like, it's going to have to carry you type of thing.
And that's looking like that's going to be the recipe for success for the Jets in the coming years with Breece Hall coming back from injury. Their defense is only getting better.
As a Dolphins fan, I will tell you right now, sign Jack Wilson to 20 years. I don't give a fuck. He is not good.
No, he's not.
I don't think he will ever take that third-year leap. Maybe I'll be proven wrong next year, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
He still makes like mistakes. He still plays like he still just underperforms. Like like we saw it the last week when they played the Pats and they shut down the run game.
Yeah,
the guy looks fucking lost. Like he's doing spin arounds like the whole time. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be the guy.
I think he had a good game this week in a sense of he didn't make mistakes. He used his legs.
He didn't shit his pants and throw the ball in the other team's hands. Like
he used his legs to get out of situations instead of how we saw last week where he used his legs to get out of the pocket but then still danced around and ended up throwing it to the other team. Like this time he said, fuck it, I'll run it. So that's a good sign. I mean, he took a step there. I don't think he's fucking good by any means, right? But as far as like the Jets team as a whole, if they want to win, he needs to play how he did this past week, right? In my eyes,
he moved up from 32 to like 25.
Yeah, rely on the defense, rely on the run game. The run game opened up a little bit at the end for the Jets. I think they need to start giving James Robinson the ball more than Michael Carter. That's just me.
It's literally the recipe Jets to win when Breece Hall was there. Just hand him the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Let that guy run it 30 times, and you're only going to throw it 18 times or whatever. Like
yeah. But definitely one of the bigger upsets this year. That whole division is sitting nice. We talked about it. You got 6-2 Bills, 6-3 Dolphins. I'm
telling you right now,
Jets,
I don't know if it's ever been
Patriots.
done. I don't know if it's ever been done. I don't know if it's even mathematically possible.
It is.
But I would not be shocked if 4 AFC East teams make it. Like that's insane to me.
I saw
the Bills. Someone's going to take the division, whether that's the Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots. I don't know. But as of right now, the standings for the AFC are the number 1 is the Bills, number 2 is the Chiefs, number 3 is the Ravens, number 4 is the Titans. That's your division, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the Jets at the first wild card, Dolphins at the second one, Chargers at 5-3, but you have the Patriots on the outside looking in at number 8, 5-4. Yeah. After that, it's the Bengals. So you have 2 teams in the AFC right now to worry about. Yeah. Patriots, Bengals. If you're not in the and you're not in the division lead right now, those are the 2 teams you have to worry about. Because after that, it goes from 5-4, Craig, to 3-5.
Yeah.
The Colts, the Browns, the Broncos, the Jaguars are 3-6. Like, that's it right there. Like, the Patriots are literally 1 game back.
Yeah.
Like that is insane.
I think
4 teams. Like,
I think it's possible, Nick. But I think everything has to go right with certain teams.
That's
losing
what I'm saying. Like every team would have to split. You'd have to split probably every game between each other. Like it's so hard to probably happen, but like it's honestly not like wild to think that it couldn't happen.
No, it definitely could. And if there's a division that could do it right now, it's looking like the AFC East. You can maybe make the argument for the NFC East, but you got the Commanders at 4-5, and I feel like they're going to miss the playoffs. So,
The NFC, looking on the paper, is so garbage. Like, look at this.
what
You
is
got
the
number one.
standings? Yeah, go
You
ahead.
got number
Go
one,
through
the Eagles, 8-0. Vikings, Seahawks, Buccaneers are 4-5, leading the division. Cowboys, and then that's your division. Or sorry, those were your division. And then the Cowboys are the 5th seed. 6th seed is the Giants. 7th seed is the 49ers at 4-4. After that, it's the Falcons outside looking in at 8. They're 4-5. Commanders are 9 at 4-5.
Yeah.
Rams are 10 at 3-5. Like, you see how like it just quality just falls right off.
Yeah. And honestly, like,
it's insane.
talking about the AFC, like, we've talked about it before, how the Browns, and it's funny that I bring up Watson again, but we talked about the Browns potentially making a playoff push at the end. I mean, with how the teams are right now, like, the Browns could maybe make a pull for that at the end. Like, if they win the next few weeks and they're sitting at what?
They're 2-1 in the division, so it's like it's doable.
Yeah, it's definitely doable for the Browns. So at this point, it's anybody's game. You know what I mean? There's a lot of mediocrity in the middle of the pack for a lot of these teams. So these 3-5 teams could pull up at the end. Like, it just depends on who gets hot. But definitely, to your point, it's possible to see the 4 teams make it. Again, I think everything has to go right.
That's what I'm saying. It would be so fucking hard to happen, but it would be absolutely wild, and it's right now it's on pace to happen, like, pretty much, like.
Absolutely. Next we got the 7-1 Vikings beat the Commanders 20-17. This game was ugly at first. It was like 17-7, and I was a little nervous for the Vikings.
Yeah, I thought the Vikings had this shit on lock. I was like, okay, Justin Jefferson scored. I'm like, all right, like, they're gonna get it going here, but they kind of slowed the fuck down.
They squeaked it out at the end. A win's a win. So
I know, like,
we'll
you squeak it out, wins win, but it's like, man, like, you wish you would have won a little bit more comfortably, but
look, okay, let me ask you.
You take the wins how you take them.
No, 100%. I like that. Let me ask you this real quick, because I was talking to my dad about this, and we were talking about power rankings and shit like that, and I was telling him how, in my mind, right, this would be my, like, top 5 for power rankings, in my opinion, at the moment. I'd probably go Eagles number 1. Yep. I'd go Vikings number 2.
Okay.
And then I'd probably say Bills 3, Chiefs 4, and then I don't even know who I remember I put at 5.
The Dolphins.
Oh, the Dolphins. That's what I said. Yeah. The Dolphins at 5. That's my top 5 for power rankings right now.
Probably the Bills at 2.
You think the Bills at 2?
I think I don't know if they lost the game against the Jets, but it's like, they're still, I don't know. I would take the Bills over the Vikings.
You know, for somebody that picked the Vikings and we're so high on the Vikings, I didn't expect that out of you.
I like them, but it's like, at the end of the day, like, they're doing what we said they're going to do. Probably win a division and make the playoffs. And it's like, they look vastly improved. I'm not going to lie. But to put them in the caliber of the Bills is like, I don't know. I wouldn't put them over them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
Like, you break the teams down, like, their Bills defense is way better.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You take fucking Allen all day over Cousins, like.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's why I can't wait for this week when they play, because that'll really be
it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
It's really going to show the measuring stick. Like, are the Bills really that team? Maybe they're not. What if they lose that game? Now they're 6-3.
Or what if they are and the Vikings are just really that team too? You know what I mean?
That's true too. What if it goes like 40-40? Like, it's just a big fucking shootout. Like, you just never know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm excited for that game.
But I love watching the videos of Kirk Cousins getting put on.
Oh, he's so hype, man.
And with all the fucking jewelry and shit.
Chains and shit. I think we should have done a little quick segment with the most disappointing teams and added in the most surprising teams, Nick. Because I think for me, it's got to be the Seattle Seahawks, right? I think we all talked about them being bad. I think their projected record was like 3-14. Nobody thought they were going to be good. Geno Smith is ass, and here they are sitting at 6-3.
I'm not going to lie, but I think we had them picking first overall.
Yeah, I think so. So it's like nobody expected this. This is the biggest shock to me. I love how they're playing. I've said it week after week. Nick's tired of hearing it. Kenneth Walker is that fucking dude.
This is one of those like anomaly type moments though, because when you look at a team, right? They just traded away their quarterback. They're bringing in veteran quarterback Geno Smith, who again we've seen play before, but he was never really good.
Yeah.
But he's having one of those seasons where it's like he's actually playing pretty
Great.
fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's like those type of situations where it's like you take the guy out of the situation and like, oh, like he's been here before, he's only played in the league for 5 years, like what can you get out of him? But it's like it actually worked out in one of these instances.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's just one of those crazy like weird moments, like.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's not discrediting the Seahawks. They're playing fucking great. You know what
I'm
I mean?
just saying,
But
it's one of those like, it's one of those just weird ones because like you could have a guy in the league play for 10 years and like you already know what he is, and then he comes to the other team and he plays the exact same way he played.
Yeah.
But it's like for whatever reason, Geno Smith went from the Jets playing like kind of ass to pretty much being one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and it's like, well,
It's one of those Cinderella
who
stories
the fuck
right now.
could like expect that type of
Yeah,
thing?
no, for sure. And I think it boils down to, like, it seemed like every draft pick the Seahawks made literally is paying dividends right now. You got the cornerback, you got the running back, you got the tackle, like, all their draft picks this year are just fucking hitting, man. And it's helping the team a lot for sure. Cardinals in shambles again, 3-6. I feel like their playoff hopes are done, man. Like, I know the NFC is very weak, and like we just talked about and went through it, but they just don't look good in my eyes. Like, I thought this team was going to change when D-Hop showed up, and it did for that 1 week. And D-Hop still looks good, but it's not like coming all together, and it's just not looking good for the Cardinals. Seahawks got another win, sitting at 6-3. That's good for them.
I didn't hear what sorry, I went put my headset down for a second, but I didn't hear what you said about the Cardinals. But it's kind of crazy to me about how they're 3-6.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it all, the whole building up to D-Hop coming back. Like, once
they're
D-Hop
another
came
team
back,
that
it
could
was gonna
be
change.
a disappointing team. Like.
Yeah, 100%.
And the way it's playing out, they're like you said. I don't think their playoff hopes are alive anymore.
No, I don't think so either.
I think now you're playing for jobs basically at this
and
point.
Pride.
And pride. The pride and joy.
Yeah. Next we got the Rams at the
I just want to say real
Bucks.
quick though,
Go
they
ahead.
paid all that money to Kyler Murray, and I don't know.
0-2 since the new COD came out.
Looking a little suspect. And yeah, that too. But
Are we
I don't
thinking?
know. They paid him a lot of money. I like Kyler Murray from college. I always enjoyed him. I think he could be good, but we haven't really seen it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's had his moments here and there. He can make plays.
But
like,
he's
nobody's
never
discrediting
been that consistent for
Yeah.
the whole year.
Yeah.
And it's like now they're in all this money on him, and it's like I really don't think it's gonna work out. Like I'm not sure if he's gonna get cut first and go to baseball, or fucking Cliff Kingsbury's gonna get fired over it. But it's not working. I don't think.
I tell you what, Nick, and these two situations aren't that similar in a sense, but at the same time they can be, and I know it's still early and we haven't seen from the other situation. But me and Nick talked about how, before the podcast, we talked about how Watson coming back from suspension, being out for 2 years, could potentially come back and play like shit, and it could be the worst contract signing in history or whatever.
Yep.
I'm kind of feeling that way about Kyler Murray. Like, I know it's still
could
early.
be that too.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just not living up to what you're paying, to what you expect. I'm starting to feel like they should have left that fucking clause in the contract to make him study. Because something's got to give, man. 0-2 since new COD came out. Fucking dog shit, Cardinals, man.
I mean, he put up 175 yards. Like,
Yeah.
it's not very good either.
Not
They're
at
paying
all.
the guy how much fucking money? I don't know. It's looking like the same thing. Like Lamar's gonna get the next one for a big contract, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how much are you gonna pay this fucking guy? Because again, he's another one to me. He's not consistent.
Yeah.
And it's like, these quarterbacks want this fucking big money, but it's like they're not being consistent.
Not at all.
And that's the big shock to me. I feel like as a whole, quarterback play this year has been abysmal.
It's been down bad.
Like, it's like the top 10 has completely changed because you have MVPs falling off completely off the earth. Like, Tom Brady hasn't been Tom Brady of old. Father Time looks like it finally snagged him. Aaron Rodgers, either doesn't give a shit or he's fucking falling off as well. Like, it's insane. Like, there's just a lot of bad quarterback play.
It's been very bad. And if you were to take in the offseason your top 10 QBs and compare them to top 10 QBs now, there's probably about 5, 6 guys.
Two in there. And
yeah, there's about 5 or 6 guys that you would take out and put different guys in right now, and it's just at
this point, I think the Bucs would take fucking Jimmy G. Like,
fuck yeah, for real.
And it's like, at what point would you say you'd want that? Like,
never. Next we have the Rams at the Buccaneers.
Oh God.
The Rams choked this fucking game at the end of the day.
What a shitty.
The Buccaneers couldn't move they couldn't score points the whole fucking game. Barely moved the ball.
I just remember too. This was at the time. This was a 4 o'clock game. There was only 2 of them on.
Yeah.
Seahawks and Cardinals and Rams and Buccaneers.
Bucks, yeah.
And the Rams and Buccaneers, I was falling asleep.
It was so hard to watch, man.
Like, just awful fucking play out of both teams.
And again, like I'm saying,
the only memorable play I remember from this game is the big bomb to fucking Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, and that happened
That's
so
it.
early. That happened like first drive of the game for the Rams. Yeah,
I know. And then after that, it was like that was it.
And again, the Rams blew this game because the Bucs couldn't score, couldn't move the ball. And then all of a sudden,
and then finally,
35 seconds left.
The last drive of the game, Tom Brady's like, I got a little bit left in me, I guess, and fucking went all the way down. And
there was like 35 seconds left, and they had to go 65 yards, and they moved the ball 65 yards and fucking win it at the end. Like, just abysmal quarterback play again.
Not only did they got the touchdown too, didn't they?
Yeah, they got the touchdown.
Not only was it for a field goal, they got the touchdown.
They got the touchdown, yeah. So
like, that's the worst part about it. Like, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even want to talk about that game anymore, to be honest. Next, we got the Titans at the Chiefs. I just want to say one thing.
This guy threw the ball 68 times.
Yeah. Pat Mahomes threw the ball 68 times. What have we said over and over and over again?
I think you almost set a record, so I don't know.
Yeah. Typically, when you throw the ball more than 40, 50 times, you're going to lose the game unless it's like a shootout on both sides. But this dude throws it 68.
They're already losing the game.
Yeah. Dude throws it 68
40 times, they're probably already
wins.
losing it. Like, Jesus.
It boils down to the Titans should have and could have and would have won this game if they had if they had any sort of quarterback play, wide receiver play, they would have won this game. Defense played fucking lights out against Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. Titans ran the ball in the first half very well. Couldn't run it in the second half at all. Malik Willis looked bad, looked confused. I think he completed 6 throws. Like, what are your stats? Lay it on me.
So, Pat Mahomes, 43 for 68, 446 yards, only averaged 10.4 per attempt, right?
Yeah.
1 TD, 1 interception, sacked 4 times. Pat Mahomes ran the ball 6 times for 63 yards, 10.5 an average, 1 TD, right?
Yeah.
Their running backs, Edwards-Helaire, got 4 attempts for 5 yards. And then, I don't know, the number 10 guy, right?
Isaiah Pacheco?
Yeah. So he had 5 attempts for 5 yards. So both their running backs, actual running backs, were averaging 1 yard a carry, 1.3, and then McKinnon got even 3 attempts, and he had 1.3 carry.
Oh, no, bro.
They could not run the ball unless it was Pat Mahomes on a fucking quarterback run. Like, I don't understand. But then listen to this. Travis Kelce, 17 targets.
God damn.
As a tight end. He caught 10 of them for 106 yards. No touchdowns. Juju Smith-Schuster, 12 targets, 10 catches, 88 yards. Mecole Hardman, 9 targets, 6 catches. Like, insane the amount of fucking targets this guy was throwing. Like, 8 to McKinnon for 6, 5 to Watson for 2 catches. Like, my man was just throwing it to anyone and everyone, especially Kelce. Then he flipped the page. Completely different story. 5 for 16, 80 yards, 3 sacks, no touchdowns, no interceptions, averaged 16 yards, right?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry ran it 17 times for 115 yards, 2 tutties, and then Malik Willis, 8 attempts, 40 yards. Average 5 a carry, right?
Yeah.
Just insane. Nobody on the Titans was targeted more than 3 times.
No wide receiver had a catch either, did they?
No.
Yeah. It was all tight ends
It
that caught the ball and running backs, I think.
O'Gonquin, I don't know what his name is. He had 1. Austin Hooper had 2. Haskins had 1. That's another running back, right? I think.
Yeah.
Robert Woods was as a wide receiver. He had 2 targets, no catches. Just insane. The different story on how to win a game.
And again, like I said, the Titans should have won it if they could have just completed a couple passes here and there, and you know what I mean? Like, and at the end of the day,
fucking insane.
If the defense could have held the Chiefs at the end, Mahomes had that 3rd and 17 like scramble for first down. The game changed once he got that first down. Like, I feel like if they stopped him there, it's a different story, and the Titans probably go on to win the game. But it just ugly play on the offensive side of the ball as far as like throwing it for the Titans, and ugly play on the Chiefs side of the ball for not fucking running it, man. Like, I've said it time after time. A couple of these teams in this league are just too one-dimensional, and it just shows sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you won the game,
all the time.
but it
The
was
Bills
ugly.
and the Chiefs, they can't run the ball really.
Yeah. And
I feel like come playoffs when the weather's cold, you can't throw it. You can't throw it because the weather's cold and it's windier than fuck. It's snowing. It's raining. Like, you gotta run the ball.
Yep. 100%. Moving on to Monday night game tonight, we have the Ravens at the Saints. I think we both picked the Ravens on this.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with that game. I think it should be a good game. We'll see. Hopefully it is. I need some scoring in my life. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. No Mark Andrews, no Gus Edwards, so
Robinson is questionable groin. Harrison's questionable. This is all Baltimore, sorry. Marcus Peters questionable quad. Mekari questionable back. Gus Edwards hamstring doubtful. Mark Andrews knee out. For the Saints, you got Jarvis Landry ankle questionable. Mark Ingram knee out. Marshawn Lattimore admin out. So flip the script here. You got the 5-3 Baltimore. Flip it around. You got the 3-5 Saints. Their record, their indoor record, you want to know that, is 2-2 for the Saints, 0-0 for the Baltimore. On the road, the Ravens are 3-1 on a 2-game win streak. At home, the Saints are 2-3, 1-game win streak. You break down the standings the league rankings, for them. Baltimore points per game is 5th at 26. Saints are 8th at 24.9. You flip it on their defense points per game now. 22.9, 18 for the Ravens, 26 for the Saints at 25. Total yards per game, the Saints are fucking just running, throwing it all over people. 394.4 yards per game for 3rd best. The Ravens are at 12th at 359.4. Passing, surprisingly, for the Saints has been very good at 252.9. That's 7th best. Lamar, 25th for passing, 193.8. Not very good. But rushing, the Ravens are the 2nd best at rushing at 165.6 per game. The Saints are 9th at 151.5. Yards per game allowed, the Saints defense dominating at 11. They give up on an average 320.8. And then the Ravens give up 23 best, and they are giving up 364 yards, and that's a tail of the tape, I guess.
So it seems like it could be a fucking shootout, low key.
Could be a shootout, or it could be a defensive dominating game for the Saints.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if we talked about this, but Rashad Bateman, wide receiver for the Ravens, out for the season. Oh yeah,
he's out too. Yes.
Yeah, he's out for the season. So I don't know if we covered that last week or when it happened.
Guess who picked up Dubonnet?
You did. They just don't throw the ball enough, man. I was hoping for a fucking...
I mean, I read you the tail of the tape. Passing yards, 25th.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh, Lamar. He threw it like crazy last year to Marquise Brown. Like, Bateman's going to be that guy. And first 2 weeks, it looked like that. And I was like, fuck, this is going to be a good pickup. And then
yeah, you love that?
Here we are.
You love that Bateman pick or what?
Yeah, real good. Moving on, we'll do week 10 predictions. This is going to be our longest episode yet. We've been going for 2 hours already. Minute 55.
Yeah, I know.
We're chilling now.
Speed for these these predictions.
Me and Nick looked at these earlier. We got some pretty good games that should be exciting this week. A couple not so good games, but we'll see what happens. Real quick, I want to point out, your boy finally made the fucking comeback. Me and Nick are both 82, 52, and 1. Which, all jokes aside, yeah, I made the comeback, but you got to give some props to us. I feel like 82 and 52 is pretty solid record, right? Predicting games, especially with the way this season's gone and like
weird.
Yeah, like you've had teams winning that shouldn't have, and vice versa. So I feel like our record as an overall has been pretty good. So shout out to us. We're those guys, you know. We're just out here predicting the future and shit.
Just means we're not bullshitting out here. We know our shit.
Yeah. So, moving on this week, hopefully I can take the lead. Finally get the lead for the first time this year. We'll see what happens. Kicking it off Thursday night, we got Falcons at the Panthers. What a way to start off fucking trying to get a lead. I got to pick between this shitty game. I'm taking the Falcons, Nick.
That's what I was going to take, honestly.
There we go. Both take Falcons.
Cordell Patterson's back. I think he helps out that offense a little bit. Gets a little bit more balanced. Drake London hopefully doesn't fumble the ball.
Drake London hopefully gets targeted. That man went from averaging 10 points a game in fantasy the first 3 weeks to fucking 3.
Oh, I know. He's on my bench.
Yeah, it's bad. Next, again, we have another one of those across the seas games. This one's in, I think, Munich, Germany. 8:30 in the morning for me.
Oh, right, yes.
Central Standard Time, 8:30 a.m. So, set your lineups for fantasy. Wake up early,
first game in
watch
Germany
the
in a
game.
while, I feel like, too.
I think this is the first game in Germany ever, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, there you go. You gotta wake up for that. That's history, then.
Yeah. I'll probably be awake. I'll have to have my dad wake me up because I'm a fucking child.
It's on at 9:30 for me. Jesus.
We got the 6-3 Seahawks and the 4-5 Buccaneers. I did it last week, and I'm doing it again. I'm riding a hot hand with the Seahawks. I think they're just outmatched against this shitty Buccaneers team right now.
I'm gonna go Seahawks as well.
I like it.
I thought about it, but just haven't seen anything I like out of the Buccaneers this season.
Yeah, I feel you. This one right here might be the game of the week, and I'm a little upset it's not prime time, but it is what it is. Vikings at the Bills. Nick, who you taking?
I'm locking in the Bills.
I'm locking in the motherfucking Vikings, because you know what happened? We fucking picked this team at the beginning of the year. Like you said last week, Nick, this is our child. I'm going to roll with our child. You fake fan, Nick. You are a fake fan. That is crazy.
I think they run into the crazy uncle and then slaps them around.
Nah, fuck that uncle. Vikings are about to smoke their shit. Josh Allen ain't even going to play.
You think his elbow injury is that bad?
No. I'm taking the Vikings, though. For real. I'm taking the Vikings.
I believe in the Vikings. I just think, I think they'll be outmatched this game.
You're fake, Nick. You're fake.
You're fake. Fuck you.
You heard it here first. All right. Next, we got Lions at the Bears. This is actually a tough one for me.
I'm taking Bears. I think
Justin Fields is playing great. I'm taking the Bears, too.
That's what I'm saying. I think Justin Fields runs all over this defense. This defense is terrible. Grant you, they just forced 3 interceptions against the fucking Packers, but he's fucking terrible, Aaron Rodgers, so I don't know. Maybe Justin Fields has the game of his career right here. Just throws for 300 yards and runs for 100 yards. I don't know.
I was about to say, this is going to be a very good confidence game, I feel like, for Justin Fields. I think Chase Claypool has a day. Fields has a day. He actually throws the ball a lot more, being it's a weaker defense against the Lions. I think the Bears take this, yeah, for sure.
Bears defense, like I said, too, is not no slouch. Top 5 in pass defense going into that game against the Dolphins, so Jared Goff might have a hard time.
100%. Next, we got the Jaguars at the Chiefs. I don't know, man.
Okay, Chiefs.
No, I'm taking the Chiefs, but I just mean, I don't know, this Chiefs teams this year, I'm not super impressed with.
It's not dominating. I don't think it's that.
I think the Chiefs win this game, but I I feel like
I
the
wouldn't be surprised
Jaguars
they
could
lose,
put up a
like,
fight. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised.
And I mean, if you look at it, the Chiefs lost to the Colts. They almost lost to the Titans. Is the AFC South just too much for the Chiefs? Do they just struggle against the AFC South? I mean, you know what I mean? Do the Jags fucking put another L on the
It's
column?
possible. I don't know. It's possible.
Next we got... I said the Chiefs, right? Yeah, taking the Chiefs. Next we got Browns at the Dolphins. I'm taking the Dolphins. I think that pass game is just too dynamic for the Browns right now. Too dynamic for anyone.
Are missing too many people on defense to stop it.
Yeah. I think Myles Garrett might be a problem.
Jacoby Brissett isn't going to keep it up.
No.
He,
I think Myles Garrett might be a problem, but I think Dolphins win this.
Myles Garrett?
Yeah.
I'll raise you Tyrion Armstead.
There you go. See?
There you go.
Bam. Next we got the Texans at the Giants. I'm fucking riding with the Texans. Psych! Taking the Giants. Fucking Texans, man. Dog shit.
I'm going Giants.
Who would thought the Giants would be 7-2? Because it's about to happen. Oh,
that's insane.
Saquon
I'm going
Barkley,
Saints.
buddy. Yeah, I'm going the Saints. Duh.
The fucking easy one. So far, we've only disagreed on what, one game yet?
Yeah, the Vikings won. Broncos, Titans. I'm taking the Titans. Hopefully Tannehill's back. Derrick Henry runs all over him again. Yeah. Hopefully Tannehill's back, man. It's got to be the Titans, right? The Titans win this.
I'm going Broncos. God
damn it. Why you got to do that?
I don't know, if Tannehill's not playing, if Tannehill plays, I see them winning it. It's one of those situations, again, where it's like you don't know who the fuck the quarterback is, so it's so hard to pick. But I like the Broncos' defense. It's not bad.
Why?
You know they're going to fucking run the ball.
Yeah.
And then if Tannehill's not playing, like, I'd rather... I don't know. I like the matchup with the Broncos defense.
Nah, I don't blame you. It's not a bad pick. You know what I mean? I
Maybe
just
Russell
think,
gets fucking 15 points and the defense holds on.
I just think there's no way. I think there's no way Tannehill misses this game after watching Malik Willis complete 5 passes. I think he's sitting on the sideline like, fuck, I gotta work through it and come back.
No, maybe he's just sitting there thinking like, I mean, this guy sucks. I don't have to worry. Maybe I can take an extra week and come back because he ain't going to take my job. Maybe that's what he's thinking, you know?
You might be right.
He's maybe I'll take an extra week just to be 100% again.
And get healthy and know that he's not going to take my job.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not scared. I don't need to look over. This guy sucks ass.
I think the dude's completed 11 passes in fucking 2 weeks. Or some shit like that.
There you go. You think he's scared? He's like, nope.
Next, we got the Colts at the Raiders. The Colts are in shambles. I'm taking the Raiders. Both these teams are in fucking shambles.
Oh, dude.
Wait, this is the 2 teams we picked today. How funny is that? Most disappointing teams. It's the most disappointing toilet bowl.
Okay, I'm going to run you back to last year, right?
Here we fucking go.
I gambled on the Raiders the week after they fired Chucky. I said they're going to rally for him. They're going to win for him. Do the Colts rally for Jeff Saturday?
Absolutely not.
With that said, I'm going to go Raiders.
They're probably sitting there thinking, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, like all these young guys are like, who the fuck? You played for this team? Aren't you like 80?
It's very possible. You're absolutely right. They could rally.
There's always those weird moments where it's like they hurrah together,
yeah,
win one game, and then they shit the bed the rest of the season. Like,
yep.
It's doable, but I'm not a believer.
No, I hear you.
I'm not tainting my record and putting my name on it.
Yeah. I stopped picking the Colts, by the way.
Oh, I know. They suck.
Next, we got the Cowboys against the Packers. The Cowboys win this game.
Cowboys. Micah Parsons forces Aaron into retirement.
Micah Parsons slaps his balls on Aaron Rodgers' forehead every time he sacks him.
Exactly. Like, literally just forces his man to just think about his life and his choices in every down.
Are the Packers really going to lose 6 in a row?
He's going to be the water boy. Yes, I watched that movie, yes. Very recently. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, shit.
He's just going to be that guy.
Next, we got the Cardinals at the Rams. Who are you taking, Nick?
I'm going to go Rams. I don't fuck. Dude, they both suck. But I think the Rams take this one against the Cardinals.
I'm taking the Cardinals because the Rams look so much worse than the Cardinals.
They both suck, honestly.
I know. I'm taking the Cardinals.
I'm just thinking Ramsey against Hopkins, like, that's a favorable matchup. Who the fuck is going to guard Cooper Kupp? I don't know. And then both run games are just non-existent.
You ain't wrong. I just think the Cardinals have one of those weeks where they put it together for 1 week and then they disappear again.
I don't know, man. The new Call of Duty's been out for, what, 3 weeks at this point
This
now?
will be the 3rd week, yeah.
Does he still feel the grind, or?
Probably not, but...
I know, I heard the way you level up weapons in that game is fucked, so...
Yeah.
You want to get the red dot sight, you gotta level up 10 other guns to get it, so... maybe he's just ultra grinding, I don't know.
You want to know how I picked this game? I closed my eyes and pointed. That's how I picked it. Fuck it, I'll roll with the Cardinals. Next we got primetime Chargers at the 49ers. I think the 49ers slaughter the Chargers.
Isn't this an LA game?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
What do you mean? It's in San Francisco.
Wait. Are you trolling right now? Is that LA or no?
LA is LA. San Francisco is San Francisco.
Is it a completely different state?
You mean California?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? Well, yeah,
California's a state, right?
They're both from California. Yeah. It's a California game.
Oh, my bad. You knew I was trying to get to somewhere.
I was trying to figure out where you were trying to go. I was trying to help you out.
It's a West Side game. There you go.
This guy.
I'm walking in 49ers.
All right, yeah, me too.
I think the Chargers are the worst California team, honestly. It's up there.
Probably.
I'm gonna take your pick.
No,
you close
it's
your
not.
eyes. You figure points. The Rams are
the Rams are definitely the
That's what I'm
worst
saying.
team.
It's one of the. They're up there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Next we got Monday night, 7:15 p.m. Commanders at the Eagles. I'm taking the Eagles. They go 9-0.
We've already discussed this. We woke up the episode with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is the thumbnail. They're going undefeated. I don't know. Their schedule is too easy.
Yeah, I was worried about the Packers. Now I'm not. The Titans might be a struggle.
The Titans, Giants, and Cowboys. That's it. They play the Giants twice. Maybe
Cowboys
the Giants
one more
week
time.
1. Maybe the Cowboys with Dak back. They can beat them. That's literally it. Those are like the only.
I think if anything, they lose 2 games this year.
Yeah, and I think it's probably to one of the divisions.
Yeah, I think they
once
might.
Once the Titans, once the divisions.
Yeah, they might split with the Giants and split with the Cowboys, which is kind of what we said at the beginning, anyway. So, yeah.
Well, we disagreed on the Rams game, the Broncos game, and the Bills Vikings game.
So somebody could take a lead.
3 games. Not a big lead, but always a lead.
That's true. All right, that's gonna wrap up Week 10 predictions. It's been a 2-hour, 10-minute episode. That's all I got for this week. You got anything else, Nick?
Nope. Thank anyone that likes, subscribes, watches. Yeah, it just means a lot to us. Like we said before at the beginning, the new handle is there now. Craig's showing it for you right now. And I'm not sure, again, it said it was going to be rolling out in the next few weeks. I'm assuming by the end of the year, like, this will be pretty much fully operational. Is how YouTube's going to be. So hopefully at the end of the day, that helps us out. Because, like I said, you can add the name and you can use it in shorts and things like that. So, again, I'm not sure how it's going to work, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, I fucks with it. I'm excited for it. Again, like Nick said, we appreciate y'all. Thanks for all the comments, subscriptions, things like that. Keep talking to us. We're down to answer some questions. Anybody that finds the video and is new and you like us or whatever, I mean, comment some things you maybe want us to talk about. If you got any questions, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that too. Comment some stuff for us to talk about, whatever you want to say. Like we said too, we're live every Monday at like 4, like what? It was maybe like 5 Eastern time,
somewhere around there.
So every Monday we're live. So if you have a Twitch account, come over here. You can talk to us on the stream. We can answer questions live for you, or like Craig said, just comment on the video and we'll talk about the next episode.
Yeah. That being said, let's hope for another good week of football. Y'all have a good one. Peace.